It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech. An amazing party ensues momentarily with Jolie Odell, John C. Dvorak, and Patrick Norton +1. It's all ahead on TWiT.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by the new Winamp for Android, featuring wireless sync and one-click iTunes import. Now with free daily music downloads and full-length CD listening parties. Download it for free at winamp.com/Android. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 383, recorded December 9th, 2012. Mennonite Madness. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Stamps.com. Use Stamps.com to buy and print real U.S. postage the instant you need it right from your desk. For our special offer, visit Stamps.com, click the microphone, and enter TWiT. And by GoToMeeting with HD Faces from Citrix, the powerful, simple way to meet and collaborate with colleagues and clients anywhere. You can share the same screen and see each other face-to-face with HD video conferencing, even from an iPad. Sign up for your 30-day free trial today. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code TWiT. And by Squarespace, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website, blog, or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code TWiT12. And don't forget to try their recently launched developer platform for complete code control. And by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your iPhone, iPad, MacBooks, or other smartphones. Find out what your gadget's worth at gazelle.com. This is TWiT. Welcome, everybody, to episode 383 of This Week in Tech, the week of tech news. We analyze it, we explain it, we cogitate. And we have a great panel today. Joining me, Ozzy, the Wonder Dog. Also with us, Jolie Odell. Good to see you.
Lovely to be seen.
With Barkley, Lieutenant Barkley.
Thrilled to be here as well.
He's wearing a Santa outfit, and you're wearing a Santa hat. Very festive. Nice to have you, Jolie. He sounds like a baby.
Who, Barkley?
Yeah.
No. Well, that would be the baby.
Oh, wait a minute. There's also a baby. Patrick Norton is also here with Tristan. How old's Tristan now?
Tristan is 7 months.
He made his debut on this show when he was 1 week old.
Exactly. I'd like to apologize in advance. I didn't realize that my final solution for babysitting was grading papers Sunday afternoon.
Uh-oh. No, we're glad to have Tristan. And any baby noises you hear either come from Ozzy, Barkley, or Tristan.
Or John.
Or wait a minute, John C. Dvorak is also here, and he's got his baby.
I was not told in advance of the gimmick show. Could have brought a dog, a cat, birds.
You have a lot of animals. All right, we're going to put our animals down. We'll keep the human versions. And did you notice, John, I'm wearing a UK T-shirt.
You know, I have a UK hoodie. And UK, of course, is great. That's University of Kentucky, and they are the preordained yearly, I think it's going to be NCAA basketball champs.
Yeah. Because
they only bring in the top kids who quit the first year, and every year it's a new team.
And they all go to the NBA.
Yeah. It's an amazing story.
It's actually kind of...
This Calipari guy. Yeah, no, he's unbelievable. He's learned to coach new kids. He gets them to actually play. He said with the promise that they can quit.
He's obviously a brilliant scout as well, because he can find the right kids.
No, they come to him at this point.
Oh, at this point he doesn't have to.
Because they know they're not going to be harassed. Because a lot of schools, they say, well, you got to stay.
Grades, schmades. You know, let's just...
Yeah, just bring them in. They
we're here to go to the
team,
NBA.
Boom, and they win. Yeah, they do very well every year.
I can hear Ryan Shrout spinning right
It's a good
he's
team.
a UK fan, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge UK fan.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Now, he would say the same thing.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yes. Believe me. Anybody who knows anything about basketball knows that this is what they do.
Ryan's the host of This Week in Computer Hardware, along with Patrick. And he is in Louisville.
Yes.
And he's a UK fan.
A rabid.
Rabid.
Where'd you get the UK shirt?
I had a visitor from Kentucky earlier. Yeah, I dropped it off. Apple's profit to fall for the first time in 9 years. Apple has not had a good run. Their stock price down, how much?
I don't know.
20%?
What's it at? 540 now? Something like that?
Something bad.
It's not bad.
Well, I guess if it isn't, unless you bought Apple stock, which neither of us have.
If you bought it at 700, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
If I may offer some perspective.
yes, please.
It's up from 400 a year ago.
That's true. It's still up over year. Yeah.
This is not Netflix.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
not
know that.
Groupon.
The problem is, I think a lot of people probably jumped on at the high of.
Not
See, that
tomorrow,
would
but
be
one of these
stupid.
days.
You don't buy stock when it's high. That's dumb. You
That's
buy it
telling
when it's
them,
low.
Jolie.
You buy it now, y'all.
Yeah.
Buy Apple
Yeah.
stock now.
Yeah,
and
and-
it will go up.
And you don't buy
Mm-hmm.
houses at the top of the market either.
I do it all the time. An analyst says,
Which is why you're day drinking with all of us,
yeah.
right?
An Apple says,
Day
analyst,
drinking.
day drinking.
It's a thing.
Day drinking. It's not day. It's
I
the
like
sun's
it.
over the yard.
Besides that, it'll be dark in a minute.
Yeah. One analyst is saying his prediction is $390. So, and I think
possible.
if Apple does in fact have a falling profit for the now, remember this is not a profit. This is not a loss. This is not as big an increase as usual, according to. And again, it's expectation. When is Apple's quarterly earnings? I'm not sure when they're going to announce.
They'll do fine. It's a ways away before Apple collapses.
S&P dropped its forecast
Now we understand whether
from 9.8 to 4.7%, half the original estimate. FactSet down, growth will be down from 3.8 to 3.5%.
So was all of this before or after they made the announcement on bringing one Mac line back to the
This
United
was
States?
before, and I think that the reason I found all these stories is because I was starting to wonder, why is Tim Cook all of a sudden on the interview trail? He did Brian Williams.
Right.
He did Bloomberg Business Week. He's starting to give a bunch of CEO interviews, and usually that's a sign, right? You trot out the CEO for a reason, maybe to say, hey, look, the next Steve Jobs is here, or maybe because you see trouble ahead. He did it. One of the things he told Brian Williams is we're going to start making Macs in the U.S. Looks like he'll be partnering. They won't be doing their own factory. They'll be partnering with a Foxconn or somebody like that. Foxconn has already built a Brazilian plant.
Yeah, they want to
make
build here.
iPads.
There's no doubt about it.
That was the funniest tweet I saw. It was like, yes, Foxconn's coming to the U.S. And I was like, oh, what could be worse
Great
than working
jobs.
for Walmart?
Wouldn't that kind of be the opposite of the whole point of a PR move of making computers in the United States?
Well, as long as they employ U.S. workers, I guess it's all right.
No,
Doesn't
that's
that-
part of the deal.
Right.
Look,
But
they're
they also
14
have.
or better.
They're going to put. I understand at least $100 million in the suicide prevention hotline as part of the deal.
You saw the nets they put up at Foxconn.
Yeah.
Suicide nets.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I think that because given the size of the Foxconn employees and
You need a
the
factory of 750,000 workers.
yeah,
that
it's-
kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't have an abnormal number of suicides. It's just there's a lot of people there. I don't know.
This is dark.
100 million. Yeah, we're gonna move on. $100 million. Now Apple, remember, is worth more than $100 billion. So that's not
They have 120 billion in the bank.
right. No, not worth. I'm sorry. Did I say worth? I meant they have cash position of more than 100
Yeah, they got the
billion.
most cash of any corporation in the
Yeah.
world right now.
So 100 million, big deal. That's chicken feed, chump change. What do you think it'll be? Mac Pros, iMacs?
Maybe something new?
Here is this is
Mac Pros would be the best idea.
Tim Cook talking to Brian Williams on Rock Center. This is the smallest video I've ever seen in my life.
What happened
Look at
to
the
it?
size of the video. You zoomed in.
Well, you know, they say television people are always a lot
You
smaller.
know, this
than
this
you would
iPhone,
expect
as a
them to
matter
be
of
in labs,
fact,
so.
the engine in here is made in America. And not only
The
are
engine.
engines in here made in America, but engines are made in America and are
Can't hear a
exported.
thing.
Wait a minute, engine.
glass
He's saying
on-
that the iPhone engine is made in America. Can you turn up the bleed a little bit so that Mr. Dvorak can hear? Does he mean the motherboard? Was it the engine?
They
No,
put
well, the
the
chip
coal
is
in a
made, the CPU.
shoe.
It's made by Samsung
I think it's in the. I think Samsung has a factory in the
in
U.S.
the U.S. factory. All right.
This phone
I
is made
think.
in Kentucky.
He says the glass on the phone is made by Corning in Kentucky. We know that. Gorilla Glass.
And you wear the thing just in,
Huh?
you're wearing a Kentucky thing.
Kentucky.
So we've been working
Corning
for
glass.
years.
But wait a minute. Isn't he an Auburn guy? Isn't Tim a notorious fan of
Auburn?
Auburn?
Why?
Because that's where he went to school.
Oh, well, I guess like
What do you say for Auburn? Not Roll Tide. What do you say for Auburn?
No, Roll
Duck.
Tide's
War
Alabama.
Eagle. He's a War Eagle.
the Auburn War Eagles.
War Eagle.
What's with all the sport ball references
I
today,
don't know.
fellas?
Today is Sports Day.
Okay,
War Eagle.
Sunday.
Someday.
I love the Roll Tide
49 or
ads.
not.
You've seen the Roll Tide ads that ESPN does. They're hysterical. Anyway, back to Tim Cook.
On doing more and more in the United
Auburn
States.
Tigers. Tigers, that's what it is.
Yeah, but you say War Eagle.
You
If
do?
you go
Why
up
would
to,
you say that?
If you go up to Tim Cook and you say War Eagle, he'll give you the secret handshake. I swear to God.
Really? They have a secret handshake, you think?
It's a secret.
America
Usually-
exported.
There's
The
a joke
glass
there.
on this phone is made in Kentucky.
War Eagle.
And so we've been working for years on doing more and more in the United States. Next year, we will do one of our existing MAC lines in the United States.
Let's say our
That's
Constitution
kind of
was a little different.
Doesn't he
and
look
Barack-
a little like a lesbian in
all
this
such-
picture?
You know, I see it. I do. Who's the one Jamie Lee Curtis? He looks
just
a little
asking.
like Jamie Lee Curtis.
She has an extra X chromosome, you know?
Yeah, no, she was a hermaphrodite when she was born.
Was she?
That's a fact.
You know, it takes all kinds. What I'm going to say, though, is this is absolute bullcrap. It really is.
That he's a lesbian?
No, she's going
I'm
to
sure
actually
Tim
raise
Cook
the
is
tone of the
some kind of
conversation
lesbian.
amazingly.
Oh,
What
I
I'm going to say is
see.
we're all just swallowing
All
gleefully
right, I'm sorry.
the idea that Apple is going
gonna
to
get
build
booted
computers
now.
in the United States. Can we recall for one moment why they're doing that?
Why?
Because of all the problems with
In China.
the other plants. Yes, and they're only doing it because it's profitable for them to look like they care about American manufacturing when it's really costing them money. I mean, this is $100 million worth of PR. That's all it is.
I had a good column on Friday about this exact topic.
Saying the same thing?
Well, pretty much what she's just said. But I think what's happened because the Chinese have moved to so many robots that somebody added 2 and 2 and said, you know, we could put robots in a
We could
factory.
do robots.
We can do robots. We do robots very well. And Apple still has to pay the American taxes, corporate taxes, so you might as well just put some of the money in the country. And it makes you look like a good guy.
The United States.
Let's say our Constitution was a little different and Barack Obama called you in tomorrow and said, get everybody out of China and do whatever you have to do, make these.
Talk about a crazy hypothetical.
Oh, Brian Williams.
Let's pretend the president could make you do this.
Everything you make in the
a
United
terrible
States. What would that
hypothetical.
do to the price of this device?
Honestly, it's not so much about price, it's about the skills, etc. Over time,
Whoa, now you got to be careful here. Because he's about to say Chinese workers have more skills than American workers.
No.
Or
Is that
better
the
robots.
No, he's just the
Is
other.
that the implication?
No, it was the other way.
He's
Well, why do you
lying,
make it in
sir.
China?
He's lying. The reason they make it in China is because it's cheaper.
Right.
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 And the Chinese can also
there
crank
are
out
skills
lots.
that are
Why is
associated
Brian
with manufacturing
Williams? Why
that
is
have
he such a
left
hack?
the
He's not
US.
asking this
Not-
guy.
not-
He says the skills
directly.
needed to make the iPhone have left the U.S. That's what he just said.
Oh, so you were right.
That
You've heard this clip before.
necessarily people, but the education system's not producing them.
That's sad. How do we get that back?
Well, it's a concerted.
You know
sad,
what?
it's
You're
fictional.
right. Now I'm getting angry.
This is so stupid.
Now I'm getting angry
Everyone just
because
stop buying Apple stuff because these are the lies that they're telling you to make it okay for you to have these devices that people kill themselves for.
it's pretty straightforward.
Ugh,
it's
I'm
pretty
sorry.
it's
I
pretty
shouldn't be this
straightforward
upset,
that they save money by making it in China.
Get my Christmas.
It's not the
spirit all
skills.
ruffled up.
Well, that's not completely true. There are a lot of skills the Chinese have that we simply do not have. In fact, for the last 20 years, if you talk to anybody about injection molding, they'll tell you that the Taiwanese are world-class leaders. We don't even come close to it.
Really?
Most of the injection molding stuff has to be done through Taiwan. And there's, I think, other skill sets that they have developed slowly in China that we just don't compete with at all.
When you say skill sets, do you mean the ability and machinery to do it like at mass production scale? Is that what we don't have?
There's a couple of things. One is that some of the techniques that they've developed we don't have.
And we
It's
can't
not- it's not-
can't get.
It's like the Russians have a technique for welding tungsten that we've never been able to achieve. And the Russians, will hint about, you guys still can't weld tungsten.
Where's the corporate espionage, I ask you?
I know. You'd think that.
You'd
it's
think
hard
that
to
we'd
believe
be
that
good at
that
figuring
there's
out how to do
knowledge.
crap and doing it cheaper here at home
Yeah.
with our 14-year-olds.
I think what happens is they download the stuff just like the Chinese do, and they look at it and they go, oh, my God, we'll never do this. This is written in Chinese.
It may also have to do with environmental regulations. I wouldn't be surprised if that.
Well,
in
there
fact,
are a lot of violations
remember when
on that in China as well.
But they can violate it. They can
Well,
violate
they're not
it
supposed
with
to.
impunity. So remember when Steve Jobs had dinner with Barack Obama a few months before his death, he brought up and said, you've got to relax the regulatory environment in the United States because we can't build plants here. He said it specifically to Obama.
Wasn't he supposed to be some kind of hippie, though? Like,
Well, that was always the interesting paradox of Steve Jobs is he was kind of a hippie, but he was also a hell of a businessman. And he did not. I think he really did not mind the idea that if you want us to build plants here, you got to relax the regulatory environment.
Yeah, a lot of people think that's probably the key.
You know what needs to happen? People need to start paying more money for these things. They're worth more than we're paying for them as it is.
Well, then, so that was, I made fun of it, but that was Brian's real question was, how much more would it cost to make it in the U.S.?
He refused and there have
to
been
answer it. He knows the answer. There have been studies. It's about $5 more.
For what?
No, really?
To make an iPhone in the United States.
Mm.
Huh.
Well, how much? Well, what about
It's a lot of money when you consider how many phones they sell.
All
That's
these devices are made
margin.
over in China and Taiwan, aren't they? Our computers are all, none of them are made in the U.S.
I'm going to see if I can find that
So
study.
somebody on the chat room says I was dead wrong about something twice in a row, and I'm trying to figure out what did I say?
Oh, don't listen to the chat room.
The chat room is usually
no, they're great,
observant.
but people come in there just to say things like that.
Oh, really?
Let's see. New York Times, January 2012. How the U.S. lost out on iPhone work. When Barack Obama joined Silicon Valley's top luminaries for dinners in California last February, the guest was asked to come with a question for the president. Steve Jobs interrupted President Obama with an inquiry of his own. I'm sorry, as Steve Jobs of Apple spoke, Obama interrupted him with an inquiry of his own. What would it take to make iPhones in the U.S.? Why can't that work come home? Jobs' reply was unambiguous. Now, this is Jobs speaking. Those jobs aren't coming back. Well, apparently, Tim Cook has thinks differently.
I think you could do a final assembly of the Macintosh, especially the Mac Pro, in the United States.
That's what they'll do. In fact, we know they're doing that because some iMacs are arriving saying "Made in the USA."
Yeah,
I think it's final assembly.
Assembled in the USA.
Right.
Yeah. That would help them customize some things a little bit. I don't know. It's not going to break the bank. Well, as someone who's worked on assembly lines when I was a kid.
You know wherever you speak.
I would say that
you did a lot of stuff when you were a kid. You were a coal miner.
I was.
You worked in assembly lines.
No, it's a lie. Okay.
Coal mines. He's mocking me. Is the only reason that.
Did you work at Ford? Where did you work?
I worked at Ford. I worked at Trailmobile, and I worked at International Harvester. So I worked in 3 different assembly lines.
Almost everybody who grew up in Michigan ended up working at Ford at one point or another. That was a good job.
I was raised in Newark.
I'm trying to give you a backstory. just roll with it. When John
Ford had a plant in Milpitas.
Yeah, I know.
No, you don't know that.
I do know that.
You know about the old Oakland car?
No, they made the Oakland there?
No, the Oakland was made in, guess where?
Oakland?
Just take a guess. Yes. There you go. How about that?
There was a study, and I'm trying to find it, and I can't, that did say the actual cost, the estimate of what the actual cost would be to make these products. And it was a surprisingly small amount. I don't remember if it was exactly
But in aggregate.
Well, you're right. If you sell 100 million of them, it's $500 million.
Apple doesn't want to take that risk. This is just big, dumb corporate BS.
Talking about $500 million, Apple and Google have
becoming
decided...
a socialist.
I've always been a socialist.
Really?
Oh, okay.
I registered as a socialist when I was 18. Now, I've given up on politics since then. I just don't care. I don't think it would affect anything. But this kind of thing makes me upset.
Apple and Google have teamed... Actually, I wanted a couple more things about Tim Cook. He also said they're going to make a TV. This is the first acknowledgement since the Steve Jobs biography came out.
Let me think back a couple years ago on this very show when yours truly...
You said so.
...had going on and on about how they have to make a TV so they have something to sell in the stores, which is the same reason Microsoft's bringing out hardware left and right, so they can have something to sell in the stores.
Why is that important?
And everybody said, oh, they're never going to bring out a TV. There's no margins in TV. And everyone went crazy.
Well, in fact, look at the Japanese TV manufacturers who are all in deep trouble. Yeah. Because of that. There aren't any. They aren't able to
they're going to be in bigger trouble after Apple comes out with their cool
Tim
TV.
Cook tells Brian Williams, when I go into my living room and turn on the TV, I feel like I've gone backwards in time 20 to 30 years. He's still watching I Love Lucy reruns, I think. It's an area of intense interest. I can't say more than that. That's an implication they're going to get in the TV business some way.
Apparently, a lot of suppliers have already spec'd out the thing. And it's going to be extremely thin. And it's going to use that new glass from Corning. So the thing's going to be razor thin. It's going to be a thin thing. You can probably lift it up and hang it on the wall on a hook.
That would be interesting.
Which is probably what it's going to be like. And that's when they're going to bring it out on the show, in the floor, and the San Francisco show.
I got to say, though,
hang it on the wall.
There's nothing Apple could do in hardware that the others couldn't duplicate. It's got to be software that Apple's going to...
Well, there'll be some cool software, too, obviously.
Yeah. A new kind of Apple TV, basically. And it also has to be content deals. And I think that's the big story, is that Apple is going around trying to make content deals.
Do you think? Well, I mean, they already have a lot of relationships in place in the entertainment industry for obvious reasons, and that's been the biggest hurdle for, the newer box manufacturers like Roku, for example. They have a very hard time doing content deals.
Right.
And same for Netflix and same for Hulu. But wouldn't it be easier? Because, all the people in my generation and younger, we already feel like turning on the TV is a good 20 or 30 years old just as a habit. We watch television on...
Yeah, let me ask,
our large
as a young
monitors,
person,
I'm a young person. I'm in my 30s, sir, but I am the young person.
You're younger than all of us.
Yeah, she's in her 30s. She's a spring chicken.
Get that baby out here and ask
Are you
how
really
she
that old?
watches
You're in
I
your
Love
30s?
Lucy.
You seem like you're about 24.
Thank you. That's
So, do you watch cable?
Oh, no.
No. You don't? Do you have a
would
cable?
She doesn't watch anything.
Look, here's the thing, and everybody in my age group would tell you the same thing. If you can't get it on Netflix, Hulu,
YouTube,
Amazon, or iTunes, you're going to get it illegally.
Download it by BitTorrent.
Yeah.
Because cable is expensive, or because it's just a pain in the butt?
And you never really need it. You need it for that one show. Why would you pay $100 a month, or however much you old people pay for your cable, to watch?
Hey, I'm paying $200 a month.
Here's the
30 Rock. No, it's not 30 Rock. They have a Hulu deal. There's always one show like Downton Abbey or something that you can't get.
Right.
You download
but that's what the Pirate Bay was invented.
I don't watch those shows.
So if Apple's
Downton
going to
Abbey's
make a
for
TV,
old
it's going to
people.
be for people who no longer watch TV. And that's like, okay, why are you going to convince people to break a habit that you helped start?
So I want to correct
Anyways,
myself. Actually,
Okay, here we go.
thanks to
We're
the
going
chat
back
room,
to
who
the
read
China thing?
further down the article how the U.S. law set on iPhone work, and the estimate is about $67 more to make an iPhone in the U.S. So
I'm not buying into that one.
that sounds like a lot.
That doesn't sound right.
That would be wages. That would be complying with environmental regulations. That would be, unionized
sounds
workers.
too high.
What if the
The parts are the
materials
same.
came from here?
Say again?
If we made all the original materials, if it wasn't just assembly, is that what that is?
It's hard to estimate how much more it would cost to build iPhones in the U.S. However, various academics and manufacturing analysts estimate that because labor is such a small part of technology manufacturing, paying American wages would add up to $65 in each iPhone's expense. Since Apple's profits are often hundreds of dollars per phone, they'd still get a healthy reward. But 65 is not
healthy
insignificant.
enough,
It doesn't sound right.
You think it's too much?
Yeah, with robots and all. I mean, how many of these? You think people are putting these phones together
They
by
are.
hand?
You've seen the pictures of the assembly line. There are people slowly. Yes, there's not robots.
I want to go see the assembly line in person. These guys are roboted up the butt.
Well, I mean,
That
I think that's
sounds
the
painful.
show name.
That sounds
Roboted
painful,
up the butt.
to be honest.
Depends on, okay, we're not going there.
Patrick has run.
Now, somebody
by the way.
says iPhones are not robot. Anything that is like these phones has to be robot made. You can't sit there and what do you think somebody's soldering this
not,
stuff?
then we need to get better
Hey, let me
robots.
solder this chip in here.
You want to see some pictures? These are
These
the.
are the sad
This
people
is
in hairnets.
this is B-roll from God knows where.
No, it's not. We've seen pictures on iPhones, in assembly line pictures, because they take pictures on the assembly line of each other. Here, look. Here's an iPhone assembly line. See all the people in bunny suits?
Yeah.
That's them. See
What are they doing?
they're putting pieces together. Hey.
Okay, I'll just I relent on my robot.
I don't think they're using robots.
Well, obviously with all those people, but who knows what they're really doing? And that's just in the Foxconn plant. Do we know that's the Apple line?
They might just be doing
There's
QA.
275, or there's 275,000. Or what? No, it's like
See, there are
750,000
the robots in that video.
people working at this factory, and she could be right. These could be all QA.
There was a.
Come with us now. I'll translate. We decided to visit via helicopter the Foxconn plant in Shenzhou, China. As you see here, the housing is varied and fancy. Here we land the helicopter in the beautiful environs of the Foxconn factory. Let's just skip ahead.
I would think, yes.
There's a person. There's a human.
Yeah, but so?
这里是苹果手机的第一道工，
For those of you just tuning in,
智能手机里头的
Yeah, the show's
主板的
gone.
最终成品。
it's gone go to the Chinese.
No, that's what that
See
was.
what she's doing there? Soldering iron, screwing. That's not an iPhone, however.
No, it's some sort of a
But I think all of these are done the same way. And the reason is it's more expensive to build robots and do it with robots than it is to cheap human labor. Don't you think?
When I first visited one of these factories years ago, it was a keyboard factory, and and everyone was paid at this time $25 a week.
Yep.
And I was told by the plant manager, he says, we'd love to get rid of these people because robots are better. These people cannot, they make mistakes. And they were ready to go all robots. And this was like in the 90s. So I don't believe for a minute that there's not a lot of robots in China.
Mike Weiner, writing in the unofficial Apple weblog, says
Even though
Apple's
the chat room disagrees with me.
Apple's U.S. plant could be highly automated, with Apple poised to drop $100 million on U.S. manufacturing. It seems very likely that they would invest in intelligent machines, and lots of them. That'd certainly be one way to bring labor costs down. Big capital investment up front. You know, one of the problems Apple faces is that in order to release an iPhone now, they have to stockpile 10 million of them before they even go on sale, and they're in more and more countries. Day of launch.
Yeah.
It's really a big production issue, and this is where Tim Cook, of course, is his expertise.
That's his expertise.
I would think that really the motivation here is not so much to get it in the U.S., but is to make it more efficient, make it faster, be able to crank out more. The other issue I would bet is leakage. One of the problems with making it in China is that we're finding out what these phones are well before we get Apple announces them, because you can't control leaks in China.
And they probably, the Chinese are notorious for overproducing, so then they put the other ones in a separate a pallet, and they'll go off, and next thing you know, they're being sold in the black market.
Right.
Well, do you think leakage would be any different in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, you can control that.
How?
Robots. They never talk. Apple did launch
Walked right into that one.
iTunes in 56 new countries, movies in 4 new countries. The Russian iTunes launch, not such a great success. Apparently, whoever programmed the code used a dummy website, x.x.x.x, dummy IP address in the code. But it turns out in Russia, x.x.x.x is actually an adult site.
I would think.
And
Porn
so
hookers
right there
for
in the
everybody.
iTunes store, the world's largest 100% free directory of XXX escorts.
Wow.
Is there another
What was that
kind?
URL again?
xx.xx.xx.xx. And we'll leave that as an exercise.
I like that Russian reversal. In Soviet Russia, porn blocks Apple.
I think they've probably fixed that, but kind of funny. The baby's back. Is he sleeping?
No.
Not quite.
Did you give him some Armenian cognac? I think you will.
That'll knock him out.
I think in Armenia they do that for teething. You throw it down on the ground.
Yes, well, you know, they started with me with Jack Daniels when I was teething. And
Did
by
they?
19, I was sober. So.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's probably not the best way to do it. Well, please, everybody have a peppermint bark brownie, and we're going to take a break as we continue. Jolie Odell is here. Thank you so much for bringing baked goods. I know you were on a baked goods boycott after the buns episode, but thank you for getting that.
You couldn't turn this into anything filthy.
Did you actually? No, just tell me the truth. Think about that before you decided.
I did, yeah. Brownies, peppermint. You can't make any kind of. I challenge you.
My reputation precedes me. I'm sorry, and I will not mock in anything, in any way, Mr. Lieutenant Barkley or anything like that. Also with us, Patrick Norton and his son Tristan. Nice to see you guys.
I just want to know how that got on the front of the iTunes installation.
Well, they said that the programmer put a dummy address, xx.xx.xx.xx, in, thinking that IP address, well, that doesn't go anywhere. But apparently it does. Whoops.
He should have used ends.
Ends would have been better. And John C. Dvorak, channeldvorak.com, host of No Agenda.
Now twice a week.
Now twice weekly. He said the joke for me. I want to talk with you about Joshua Brentano in just a moment. And did you heard where G4? Well, let's talk about G4 when we come back. But first I want to tell you about Stamps.com. This is a pro tip for people who do a lot of mailing. Don't go to the post office. Bad idea if you're trying to get stuff done. This is amateur month at the post office. When everybody goes in and gets stamps for their Christmas card list and the lines get long. People How much is a stamp? No. You're a pro mailer. You're sending out a lot of stuff. You're sending out invoices, bills. You're sending packages you sell on eBay or Amazon. You don't need that. You don't need amateur hour. You need the pro tip, and that is stamps.com. It means you never again will go to the post office. You don't need it. At stamps.com, you could print your own postage with your computer, your printer. It fills out all the forms for you, international, express, priority, even sends out emails to the recipients with the tracking and all that automatically. Pulls the data from your address book, your QuickBooks, or if you're on Amazon, eBay, PayPal, Etsy, if you're a seller on sites like that, it'll get it from there. Yeah, he wants us. No, you don't get to lick the stamps anymore. I'm sorry, Tristan, but the beauty of it is the mail carrier comes and takes it, and you don't get up from your desk. It's all handled for you, stamps.com. Now, we got a special no-risk trial offer for those of you who do use mail a lot. When you go to the front page, you'll see an $80 offer. Please don't take that. Even though you may say, boy, that's a sweet-looking scale. That's a sweet-looking scale. I think that our scale, even though the picture is of an uglier scale, I think we get the same scale. I'm sure we do. Click the radio microphone. Watch this. Enter the offer code TWiT, T-W-I-T. Special offer for stamps.com. And then that $80 offer turns into a $110 bonus offer. Yes, it looks like the clunky scale, but I just think they forgot to update that picture. I got to think that. You're going to get the beautiful streamlined new USB scale. That's very handy because you just plop the letter or the package on that, and it tells you exactly how much postage. So you never pay more or less than you need. No more postage due, no more overpayment. You also get $55 in postage coupons. $55. You get a $5 supply kit and, of course, a 4-week trial of Stamps.com. So please do that for me. Stamps.com, click the microphone, use the offer code TWiT. It really is the pro tip for people who do a lot of mailing. Stamps.com. So G4, we knew that they were throwing in the towel. They killed Attack of the Show. They killed X-Play. They've been firing people. And then we'd heard that they want to be the GQ of television networks.
No, the Esquire.
What does that even mean?
That's what happened was... literally, the Esquire.
Yeah, well, they went to Condé Nast. They negotiated about GQ, but apparently Hearst made them a better deal. They have partnered with Hearst. It will be the Esquire channel going forward.
It's so funny. So it's a major spinning of... Yeah, we don't want to knock that over. It's a major spinning of the network. They stopped renewing contracts for the talent. I mean, Adam Sessler had been there forever, the better part of 14 years. He's actually at Revision 3 now.
Yeah, Revision 3 is doing a gaming channel, which is great.
It's fun to watch. Yeah. There's some really good people there.
Yeah. It's all right, don't worry about him.
It sounds like you're doing Sessler imitation.
It sounds just like Adam Sessler.
He's going to give me crap about that. But what was funny is we got our former segment producer, who I got into the series producer position when it went to G4.
Joshua Brentano.
Brentano sent me an email, and it was an interesting email because the Screensavers was shut down.
Patrick and I did that show for 6 years on Tech TV, 98 to 2004, when Comcast bought Tech TV and merged it with G4. They fired us because we were too old.
What?
Yeah.
You could have sued them.
They didn't tell me out loud.
Oh.
But they did.
You probably could have sued them.
Well, I noticed that they only kept the people who were under 30. I'm not going to sue them. Why would I sue them?
Money?
Yeah, there you go. There's a good reason.
You start suing people, and all of a sudden you're suing people all the time.
So what?
It becomes a lifestyle.
It's a nice living.
You become known as the litigious Leo Laporte. As alliterative as that is.
Not a bad reputation, believe me.
What's your superpower? I litigate. So Patrick and I hit the road. We went off. You went to Revision 3. I started TWiT. We continued to work together. And they went the gaming route.
Yeah.
And they did the Screensavers for a while. Kevin stayed there. Kevin Rose stayed there with Sarah Lane. And they did the Screensavers. But Kevin left early on. He was tired of that. He wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to be a billionaire. Sarah Lane and Kevin Pereira hosted the show, but they renamed it Attack of the Show.
Right.
But it was the Screensavers. It still was there's some continuity there, right?
There's a certain vibe there.
And Joshua still produces it.
So Joshua said, hey, how would you guys like to close out the last episode of Attack of the Show? And I'm like, ha, 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 ha. He goes, no, seriously.
As hosts of the Screensavers.
Yeah, like we're sitting, I don't want to.
So this is how I want to do it.
This was talked about in the last show.
Yeah, but Patrick's actually here now.
Oh, okay. Now you can talk about him doing it.
Well, no, this was, they have not.
You haven't talked to him about this?
They haven't approached me yet. Oh. I'm waiting to hear from them.
They actually, I said, do you want me to talk to Leo? He's like, yes.
So we want to do a Newhart thing, right? It was all a bad dream.
Yeah.
Like the end of the Newhart show, Bob looks at what's Mrs. Newhart's name?
Mrs. Newhart's good.
Suzanne Plachette, and says
Emily, it was.
Emily.
Yeah.
That was a terrible drink. You know how I know it was Emily? There was a drinking game. Every time you said Bob or Emily, you'd drink.
Huh.
And that was, you would get pretty...
Wasn't that the end of Lost, too? I never watched 2 minutes of it, but it wasn't the end of
It feels like
whole
it
plot
should have
device,
been.
Like, oh, it was all a terrible dream and we're really dead.
It was in Dallas. Remember Bobby was in the shower? This is not the first time.
Well, anyway, onward.
So I think we should wake up in bed. Now, they said a coffee shop, but I don't get why we would say what a bad dream. I think you and I should be in a bed together.
Very San Francisco of it.
Yeah. And we look up,
maybe.
and you say, God, I just had the worst dream. I said, me too. Was it like there was some other show? And you go, yeah. And then Steve Porter, our floor director, goes, Patrick, Leo, in 5, 4, 3. And then we somehow have to green screen the set on. We jump out of bed, and I think that would be very funny and a nice way to go to G4. They'll never say yes to that.
Of course not. You're insulting them.
Kevin Rose
These guys
could be in
are
the shower.
hypersensitive to these sorts of
I
things.
agree. I don't think I think it's Joshua's idea, but I doubt it'll ever happen.
It's been greenlit.
You're kidding.
No.
Can we be in bed?
They're actually.
Can they get Bob Newhart?
Not going to happen. None of this.
Why would they want Bob Newhart when they have Leo Laporte?
I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be funny if after we do that, Bob says, "Wait a minute, that's my bit." I think that'd be funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah. And nobody, by the way, who watches G4 is going to get this at all. All they're going to go is Patrick and Leo in bed together.
That's true.
Or who are those guys? More
Well,
likely.
that's more likely.
Who are those guys and why are they
Who are
in
these
bed?
two
The
idiots?
bald guy and the guy with the badger on his head.
But you guys will get it. If Olivia Munn could be in bed with us, that would be different.
Oh, yeah, that would work so well with my wife. And Elizabeth.
I don't think Tristan likes the idea either.
Yeah, put Tristan in the bed. Yeah, there's Jolie. Put Jolie in the bed.
Anyway, we can all be in bed together.
How did I get involved in this? I have nothing to do with this. This is a mess.
No, it's
Okay.
just this chat room suggestion.
Life on Mars was a dream too. I didn't see that show. It's an interesting idea. We'll see.
St. Elsewhere ended with a dream sequence?
Did it?
You're kidding me. That's going to bother me all night.
I think it's a funny idea. So they said yes? Like the powers that be at G4 said yes? They must be pissed off.
They must be pissed off. Who cares? They're actually willing to send up a producer and a crew.
Deal. Can we be in bed?
I have a list of dates on my computer.
You really want to be in bed with
Because
Patrick?
you can't have a dream in a coffee shop.
You can have a conversation about a dream in a coffee shop.
That's a little, I don't know. I think
No, that's lame.
Leo wants to go
He
all
just
the
wants
way.
to cuddle.
I think it'd be funny. We don't have to be cuddling. We could be lying looking
I've
at the
cuddled
ceiling.
with
Oh, no,
Leo.
it'd be funny if you're cuddling. You should cuddle, Leo. If you're going to be in bed, you got to cuddle.
I think spooning.
Little spoon. Right here.
You think I'm the little
You
spoon?
could be the little spoon, yeah.
And
bigger
now we're
guy.
talking.
Speaking of which, have you purchased? Now, let me
Can you
ask
hear the laughter, Leo?
Yeah, I can hear the laughter in my head. Not in here, apparently.
Okay.
This is a good question. Speaking of spoons, we have there is 1 day left to buy the TWiT mugs, and I'm just wondering because I have a thought about this.
Wait. You just announced these mugs last show. I was here. I
know.
witnessed it.
We decided to only have it available for a week because we want to have them in time for Christmas for people. It's too late for Hanukkah already, but we want to at least get them for Christmas. So these are $20 for 2 mugs. You can have 2 16s. But do you like the mug with the spoon in the handle, Jolie? It's a spoon holder.
But why would you want to carry the spoon around after you'd already stirred your beverage?
I agree. I think it's for storage, but I think
Okay,
it's
wait
silly.
a minute.
It
Now-
also prevents you
don't
from holding the
know.
cup.
We have to bring up another point.
What?
You made the point strongly that women like the spoon handle.
That's why I was
and
doing
now
a
we've
test.
got a woman here.
That's
and-
why I was doing
I
a
don't
test.
count, though. I'm more logical.
That's why I was doing a
than
test
most
because we asked everybody in the studio, all our employees, and all the women loved the spoon cup, and the
Chicks
guys thought
love
that's
spoons.
dumb. A
Okay,
cup
no,
is a
chicks
perfect
love-
spoon holder.
Is it a tiny spoon? Because if it's a tiny spoon, my entire theory on this has changed.
It's a
and
matching
awesome.
tiny spoon.
Well, if it's really small, like the ones you get at the Japanese
Yeah.
100 yen store, then that is amazing, and I want two.
It doesn't look that tiny to me.
I can't tell.
It's the size of the cup. It's actually taller.
It's a small cup. See, it's a
Here
9-inch.
we come.
I
Here we
just
come with a
don't know.
demo.
Is that tiny enough for you?
No, that's not
Okay.
little
That
enough.
looks like a
That's just
Chinese
See, here's the problem. You cannot.
see it.
Wait,
the spoon.
hold on.
You can't pick
So
up the
this-
mug.
idiotic.
This is a design flaw.
No, but apparently some people love it.
Nobody loves it.
Who?
See, to
People
me,
with tiny little
you've already got a
fingers.
spoon holder. It's called the mug. It fits perfectly, and you can still drink.
And then, well,
But here,
what?
you
'Cause
put
it
this
hits you in
in,
the face, and then the spoon hits
you
you
can't
in the
hold
face,
it, and
it's dripping tea and coffee all down it.
Yeah.
No,
it's for storage. I think it's for like putting on the shelf, because the spoon matches. See.
It's idiotic.
Anyway.
But then you could break the spoon because it's also ceramic, right?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Okay, so you don't have to buy the spoon mug, but you could get two
Try
16
the
ounce
other
mugs.
mug, y'all.
But you get 2 mugs for $20. You get your choice, mix and match, and this is your last chance because it goes off sale in 1 day and 2 hours. And if you're listening to this tomorrow, I'm sorry. Teespring, TEEspring.com/twitmugs. We have already sold, get this, 1,481 sets at $20 per. You know where I learned this from? You. No agenda.
You didn't learn that from me. You're better than I am.
You're good at marketing, dude. You get people to pay. How much is it to be a producer? A gold level producer.
$333 minimum.
And what do you get? Your
You
name.
get a title as a producer of the show, and you can use it on your stationery. You can put it on your IMDb.
Moving along. The Daily is dead. Long live the Daily. Rupert Murdoch, remember?
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah, Rupert
This
Murdoch.
thing was a turkey from the get-go.
It really was.
And nobody subscribed. They said they got 100,000 subscribers. Do you believe that? I think it's a lie.
This was an iPad-only daily news, I guess, newspaper that Rupert Murdoch created. He hired 100 people for the newsroom. Their burn rate was huge. They estimated that they'd have to get 500,000 subscribers just to break even.
Yeah.
They never got more than 100,000.
I find it
Now,
hard to
was that
believe
100 in the newsroom? Because that is ridiculous. As somebody who has been doing digital journalism for these many years, you got 100 people. You better be cranking out like the equivalent of several daily newspapers worth of content.
How many people are at VentureBeat?
In our newsroom? I don't know, but we're scattered all over the country.
But it's not more than a dozen.
It might be a little bit more than a dozen now. We've been hiring a lot. But no, like
Mashable.
at
How many people
at
were at
Mashable, when I was there, I don't think we had more than 50, and we were already putting out so much content. Like
Much more than a daily newspaper. That's the irony. I mean, this didn't even ship. This didn't have updates all the time.
I know,
It was
that's
once a day.
idiotic.
It was a giant
Hey,
download.
welcome to the 21st century. We're not going to update every 5 minutes.
The Atlantic, interestingly enough, had a very insightful piece on why the Daily didn't work. And it involves, if you're going to put things behind a paywall and people can't share them because it's all stuck in this
That was
big
my
app.
problem with it. The web.
Sharing content
Yeah,
is
it's
the way.
huge.
I mean, if you know anything about digital publishing, sharing content is the only way you're going to survive, to get enough eyeballs, to sell enough ads, to make your big turkey sail the seas of,
Does anybody know what the
media.
subscription rate was for that thing? What was the price?
It was 99 cents a week. So it was cheap.
$5. So it was
$4
$52 a year.
Yeah, $52 a year.
That would
Well,
work.
that's not that cheap, is
That
it?
would have worked.
Not that
Actually, you know
cheap.
where that would work really, really well? Asia. In Japan and in China, people are
true.
really, really used to paying small amounts of money on a regular basis for new content. Guess where people are not used to that? America. So, of course, it wasn't going to work here.
Also from that Atlantic
It's only
article.
iPad, and that's not great.
This is why they did it. If you look at this graph from the Atlantic article, this is where you spend your attention. The blue place is where you spend your attention. 7% print, but this is where advertising dollars, 25% advertising dollars. Internet, 26% of your time, but only 22% of the advertising dollars. And mobile, which is where the Daily was aimed, 10% of your time, 1% of the ad dollars.
Yikes.
There's a problem. The second error, he says, and by the way, this is Derek Thompson writing. He says the second error is subtle. The Daily doubled down on the mobile trend to the expense of the sharing trend, as you said. The social web is on the web. The Daily isn't. Yeah, that was my big problem.
Well, that's funny because this book disagrees with this.
Social media. Did you find that book? I'm going to interview that
yeah.
guy.
You did?
Social media is BS. I can't even.
That guy pitched us. No.
He's kind of in the Andrew Keene vein. Yeah, I can't say it on the air, but you can watch it. You can see the word.
I wonder if his mother knows. So, anyways,
It was also very expensive. I mean, the economy, the economics
It was
of it. were-
$21.99. It wasn't that high.
Not the book, the Daily. I don't see any way for them to get 500,000 subscribers. All right. Anyway.
it's a great idea, and we
Schadenfreude.
media types love to criticize when,
Right.
they didn't do well, they failed, and we all
course.
love to say, I told you so. But I mean, really, who's figured how to do tablet content well and profitably? Like Flipboard does it well.
But do they make money?
You know, and I was talking to them the other day. They're trying to find really great, interesting ways to make money, and it's not really around content. It's around products and all the other Flipboard-like products that are coming out. They're looking like, okay, how can we bring retailers in, because we need a way to subsidize all this content. But subsidizing content has always been a problem with media. That's why we have a news hole and then advertisers. I'm going off.
It's interesting that you should mention Flipboard, because almost invariably when I say the Daily failed, people said, yeah, Flipboard killed it. It's free. It's a much more varied source, and it has sharing. And it, by the way, looks better and it works. John Gruber said the Daily failed simply because it was a lousy app. It took forever to download each episode.
Oh, yeah. You apparently had to download the entire thing just to read one little article.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas
no
Flipboard
good.
is always up to date. It takes no time to download.
I think the idea of it is rather charming. That remember when the newspaper was the cool thing and you could sit down with the Washington Post or the New York Times or whatever, and you could drink your coffee and spoon with your man friend and, you know, get the news of the day in a relaxed environment where it's not all coming at you every 30 minutes, something distracting you from your day's work, when you could sit down with the newspaper.
You can still do that if you want to.
I sit down with Flipboard, but it's not as aesthetic.
I have the New York Times subscription.
I do that. No,
and
I do.
I get it. And here's the problem. For one thing, it piles up. You feel guilty about all the papers, and you only read about one or two a week.
Right.
And you can't use your iPad as kindling no matter what you... Well, you could. But
no, you can use this. You can soak these New York
America.
Times in kerosene, and they're pretty good to start a fire, but that's about it.
On the other hand, if you look at Flipboard, the signal-to-noise ratio is not as good as, say, something like a curated newspaper or magazine or the Daily.
Well, have you seen Circa?
What's Circa?
Oh, you guys.
Can I see this?
Guys, and you think you know your new media. All right, so Matt Galligan.
We never said that.
Matt Galligan is this nifty startup guy, originally from the Boulder scene. And he came back and he was like, yeah, Flipboard is really cool, but we need curation. So I'm going to hire all these editors who are smart and who have great sources to go around and find, you know, the best, most interesting news. And then we're going to like categorize it and whatever. And it's kind of, it's like a very edited, you know, best of the web version of Flipboard, where it's not just robots, it's also smart people.
You know, one of the ways
I think curation is one of the best things about the modern
and one of the
internet.
ways I try to make Flipboard be more curated is by the Twitter lists that I follow and stuff, but there's still a lot of junk in there. Unfortunately, Circa is iPhone only, so I won't be able to put it on my Galaxy Note. How do you like that Note?
This phone is dynamite.
I love it. Selling like hotcakes, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know. So what's
Are they
this?
paying you guys for that?
That's
or
the
what?
Samsung official Samsung case.
There's an official case?
Well, that's the one that it's
It
sold by
comes with
Samsung.
it? Oh, you had to buy this thing.
You buy it,
and then you slip it behind the thingy.
It's because it has a removable back cover, so you can change the battery. Nice feature.
By the way, I understand they're going to stop doing that.
Some phones are doing it. The new HTC 8X does not. The Lumia does not, and I think that's a mistake.
Keep waggling that menacingly, John.
I think that's a nice cover. Don't you think it's a very elegant?
Yeah, the problem is that when you flip it around like this, to actually talk on the phone is kind of funny feeling.
It's so funny. I realized one of the reasons I like the Galaxy Note 2 is because I don't use it as a phone. It's a computer for me. I very rarely, and if I do talk on the phone, it'll be Bluetooth or.
Hello, Mom.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't make it. You don't even have a cell phone. So.
No, I have one now.
You do?
I got it because.
People mocked you?
My husband kept getting mad at me. Oh, no, it's because I got the dog and I wanted to take pictures of him when I was out.
That's the reason most people get phones.
Yeah, for their children or their
See,
dogs.
you're not using it as a phone either. You're using it as a camera, and so Aaron can reach you whenever he needs to.
Really?
Yeah, those two reasons. What did you end up getting?
I just used the one that I found at Google I/O last year. I'm sure they're going to
It's a Nexus.
Yeah, well, I have to give it back.
Oh.
But I just found it because it was sitting in a drawer in the newsroom. We have a drawer in the newsroom full of devices, and there was the Lumia that was in there, and we've got a really old Nokia candy bar, and I have an old BlackBerry in there too. The newsroom drawer of dead devices. It's a whole thing. So
it's nice that they.
I pulled the Lumia out, and I was going to use that because I thought,
But you
Windows
use this
Phone 8 is
instead.
so pretty.
This is the Google phone.
Yeah. Well, the Lumia one
It's a
had
nice
that
phone.
battery
I like
issue.
it.
Remember where they would power down all the way and then you couldn't get them back on again? The Lumia bugs.
Oh, I heard
Anyone
about this.
remember
Yeah,
that?
if it went all the way dead, you can never.
It happened. It
Oh, dear.
happened to me. And then I was like, oh, I'm a technologist. I have a neckbeard husband. We can get around this, right?
Aaron's going.
Look at this going. What are you talking about?
What the hell?
Throat beard.
No.
What do you mean?
It's
No, he
an
actually shaves his
honorific.
neck.
And by the way,
Well, he is
this poor
brilliant.
guy
It's an honorific.
who's lucky to be married to her,
No,
Yes.
lucky one.
but
But-
he does the dishes.
Well, I would too if I were married to Jolie.
Look at this.
I would do
cook.
anything she
I cook
wanted to.
every day.
Right. You cook, he cleans. It's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. He
Yeah,
who,
okay,
he who
sounds right.
cooks doesn't have to do the dishes. Sometimes do the dishes too. Okay.
That's always been my theory.
Do you like Google Now? Do you do the Google Now thing? Do you like to do Google Now?
I do like
Google
Google
Now.
now.
Yeah. So
What? Is it Google Now a thing, or is this just, do you like Google?
no, it's a thing called
Now.
Google
Yeah,
Now.
I like it because it
What's
tells me how
Google
far
Now?
away I am
Let
from
me show
home, how
Jolie.
long is it going to take me to get home.
Oh my God,
So-
John, the robots have taken
Yes,
you over.
it's very much like that, where
No, it
Google
does all
knows
this stuff.
based on what you
It
search
tells
for.
me the football score that I didn't even know I needed to know.
Google knows,
But you
for
didn't
instance.
need to know it.
Apparently, but I found out I did need
So
to know
it puts up cards of things like I know the Niners are winning in the last 2 minutes of
What's
the
the
game,
score? Sport ball.
27-13,
Okay.
because it knows I want to know about the Niners. Now, of
First
course,
half
I can
was
customate
6-3. It was terrible.
I know.
You can customate it?
You can customate it.
Tell me
Here's
more.
packages that were shipped, which is great. So you can see.
Oh, I don't have that card.
That's a nice card. And
What's it called?
I don't know. I didn't add it. It just added
just
it
added
spontaneously.
itself.
Yeah,
These things are-
because it goes through my mail just to see.
It
Good
does.
God, doesn't
It does. It goes through your mail, checks all your searches. Here's my favorite one. This will really annoy you. You say, I think I got to go to some place in Modesto, and you look it up at home on your big machine or your laptop, whatever, and you say just to see how far it is, if it's going to take you forever. So you say, okay, I'm going to go tomorrow. The next day, when you boot up your phone, the phone has the directions all ready for you.
It's amazing.
To go to this place, assuming that you are going to
amazing.
go there.
When we were.
Amazing is one word for it.
It's creepy.
Extremely creepy is
It's not
another.
creepy. It's not
It's
creepy.
so creepy.
I
Why
agree,
is
it's
it creepy?
creepy.
Why
Because
is
they're
that creepy?
selling that data, dum-dum.
To
That's
whom?
why
Who cares?
Seriously?
Who is buying that I like the 49ers? Who?
Ads of restaurants or the Starbucks in Modesto, like wherever you are.
But there's no ads in here.
Anytime. Well, there's
Yet.
going to be. What about when you go to Google search from that phone? It's going to show you relevant. Come on.
So who cares? It's going to show me ads no matter what, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like
Shouldn't I
being a
see ads that are
product.
more germane to what I care about?
No, I don't. I disagree with that thesis, but I don't think I
There's
agree
nothing
with
wrong
you.
with it. I'm going to see the ads, whether they're germane
I think
or not.
no, I think that's the real point. You're going to see ads whether you like it or not, whether they're germane or not. You're going to be
it's a
stuck
free
seeing
service.
ads,
Somebody's got to pay for it.
and they're going to violate your privacy as much as they can.
It's not violating my privacy.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
If you can,
if I was
it
an
would violate
assassin and
my
I could get
privacy.
access to
See,
things,
Nobody's
assassins,
trying
no
to
one thinks about the
assassinate me.
assassin
it's
angle.
right. Assassins. You have to consider these people.
You know, if you're using a cell phone and you're using the internet, forget it.
You should be using
if you
a
don't,
sat
if
phone,
you don't,
really.
if you do you use credit cards, if you use all of these things, assassins are
I
following
keep
you
my cash in
anyway.
a tinfoil packet under my mattress.
That's the only
like
choice.
My mama told me.
So you might as well enjoy it because you're going down anyway. So at least I'll have directions to the nearest Applebee's, and that's.
There's
you
Applebee's
won't need an
in
assassin
hell?
if you go to those places.
When we were, believe it or not, I was in Australia, and it noted how I was moving around, and it said it'll be 5 minutes to here. The traffic's light.
Here's the thing that bothers me. It's not that the assassins or all this other stuff. It's that at some point the insurance companies get a hold of all this stuff, and it's like the black boxes going in the cars.
I may
They're going to be
wax-
giving you speeding tickets based on this data. You're going to be it's going to be a bunch of crap that you're going to have to pay the government. This is all part of a scheme to get your money.
On a simpler level, it takes all the joy
How's that
and
chat room?
mystery out of life. I don't want to know if it's going to take 5 minutes. I'll get there when I get there.
I
don't
want the
wanna
joy
know
and mystery of
if
traffic
Starbucks
jams.
has a sale. I want
What
to
are
go
you
to a
nuts?
mom
The
and
joy
pop.
and mystery of traffic jams.
See, I know that it's
It is a
Chris and Tony's
mystery.
birthday.
No, the joy was something else. The mystery was how long it's
and
gonna
then if
take
I don't,
you.
if I'm done, I swipe it off and it removes it.
Okay.
Okay, I saw that package. Oh my, that's good. My double-barreled marshmallow shooter is arriving
Oh,
soon.
cool.
That's
Nice,
great.
nice.
The marshmallow
Swipe
shooter.
that off,
Yeah.
and you can.
And see, look, and there it shows you the weather, which is all a lie. Anyhow,
And
meteorology
I
is
could say
as bad as a
card
horoscope.
appears. I could say how often. Always in the morning, or in the evening. John didn't pick up on that.
No, I think-
could
I
say,
know I missed it. I was
I could
watching
say,
the
do
chat. I
I
was
want the
unfortunately
weather
watching
at
the chat
home,
room.
at
and they were
work, where
yapping
I
about
am
stuff.
for upcoming trips? I could say, and then is there a wet notification or not? This
when
is
do
all.
you get to stop like thinking? When is this device like thinking for you?
Well, and that's, I think, a reasonable goal is that the
Yeah.
device should know what I want ahead of time and tell me what I need to
No.
know.
Yeah, and tell you how to vote
It's
and tell
great.
you what to
if you get
buy
lost
and where
in
to
the
go.
I
woods?
can
How
tell
are you
you
gonna
how to
find your way
vote.
out?
No,
And if
you-
it does,
Dear
I will
God.
ignore it.
No,
What
you
about the
won't. Not if it tells you.
apocalypse? How are you going to make your way through
gonna
the
eat another
apocalypse?
brownie.
With no,
It'll make
with
you
no
vote the way you already
cell
vote.
service?
People are such nervous Nellies. So anyway, it's coming to Chrome.
Swear to God, I'm
Oh, it's
raising
coming to
my
Chrome.
kids
It's
in
going
the
to be
mountains.
it's going to be in Chrome.
Thank you.
It looks like Chrome users, not just Android users, will get access to Google now, according to Stephen Shankland writing for CNET. The search giant's technology for bringing weather reports, trip departure reminders, birthday alerts, nearby restaurant reviews, and more to Android users. Google Chrome has added a skeleton for now to the Google browser.
So here's the problem I have with it. So we're driving around the middle of nowhere, and I booted this thing. It was in the southern part of Washington State. And so I booted this thing, and it started giving me recommendations for nearby restaurants and what I should go check out.
That's probably an ad, right?
No, there's a whole slew of them. 60 miles away, right? No, they were all in the area. It was pretty good.
No, it's smart. It does a good job.
Yeah, it does a good job. But these restaurants, because you could cross-reference them to Yelp, these were places you would never want to go to in a million years.
But you knew that.
Well, that's...
Did you cross-reference them to Yelp?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm eating mushrooms.
Yeah, I've noticed that this is a very...
How long before Google allows me to opt out of having the suggestions in Maps?
Oh, you can opt out now.
You can opt out. You don't have to have this stuff
Just
running.
Use a feature phone and ask for directions from the creepy guy at the gas station man.
So,
who you'll be living near when you're raising your children in the mountains.
No teeth. You don't need them.
I do have to say, now, people are going to say, oh, you're a Google fanboy.
You're not a Google fanboy.
I'm not.
You're pretty neutral.
I can be critical.
You go from device to device to device. What you are, if anything else, is fickle.
I may be fickle.
Yeah, you're very fickle.
But I think the Google Now is useful. And I have to say, for a long time, I've been saying Google Plus, they blew it. It's dead. Nobody's using it. They just added a feature that may completely bring it back to life.
Tell me.
Communities thing?
Yeah. Let's take a break, and we'll talk about communities when we come back. Also, why Vic Gundotra is no longer allowed to tweet. How about that for a tease? But first, a word from our friends at Citrix. Do you, in business, you probably have meetings, don't you? You gotta. Everybody does. They're kind of the thing people don't like. But if you're going to have meetings, I can tell you they're much more compelling, much more interesting when you use GoToMeeting. First of all, you get screen sharing. So you can see, you can all be on the same page. Literally, you can see what the other person in the meeting wants to show you, whether it is, PowerPoint presentation, drawings, documents you're collaborating on. It's great for training. But you can also see them with this new HD Faces, which I really, really like. It makes meetings much more personal. GoToMeeting is easy to set up, easy to use, works across all platforms, Mac, PC. You can attend meetings on an iPhone, an iPad, an Android device. You can even present and share from an iPad. In fact, if you have an iPad, it'll use the camera on the iPad, the microphone on the iPad. You can turn the audio off. I don't need that. The microphone on the iPad, the earphones on the iPad, and you can have a meeting in the park. It really gives you the flexibility to go where you want, do what you want, and still participate in company meetings and so forth. If you do use meetings in business, and I thought we could get away with it. You know how much I hated meetings. I would go to the Screensavers editorial meetings every day, and I just hated it.
No, you just sit in the corner, surly,
playing Tetris and grumpy. GoToMeeting means that even though you gotta have meetings, I thought we could get rid of them in the TWiT. No, you have to have meetings, so we still have them, but it makes them a whole lot easier, a whole lot more fun, and more engaging, and more efficient and effective too. I want you to try it free. If you visit GoToMeeting.com, here's what you do: you click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code TWiT, and you can have 30 days free. The apps are free on all the devices. Throw some meetings, and I think you will see they really are much better. Now, I want to give you, if you don't, this is a nice opportunity to win an iPad, so you can try GoToMeeting on your iPad. Where in the world, we're going to ask you to tweet this, okay? So make a note of this. We're going to do a random drawing of all the people who tweet. Where in the world would you meet from? Think about this, Patrick.
I'm thinking.
And why this holiday season if you had GoToMeeting on the iPad? If you share your story on Twitter using the hashtag TwitFreeIPad, that's hashtag TwitFreeIPad, we'll collate all of the tweets. We won't base it on the quality of the tweet, but we will be reading your tweet on the air if you win. And then I think next week we will announce the winner. We'll pick randomly from all of the tweets we get. U.S. only, I'm sorry to say. Don't blame us. Blame your local authorities. I'm afraid it's not our fault.
Blame the United Nations.
It's just the laws are so complicated that we can't, GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button. Use the promo code TWIT, and if you would like to win a free iPad, tweet where in the world you would meet from.
Paris.
Yeah, it's funny that you should say that. Provence. And why this holiday season, and who?
The food. the family or my wife will kill me.
We're here. Don't you wish you were? So that's it. And then you just add TWiT free iPad and you're good. Hashtag TWiT free iPad. Good luck. We'll announce the winner. I think we'll announce it next week, Chad, or 2 weeks. Do we know?
I'm unsure.
Sometime. Doesn't say in here. All the rules are online, though, somewhere. I think it's on the Inside TWiT blog, right?
We obviously didn't read the rules, but you can.
Yeah, I don't need to. I can't win, so I don't have to read the rules. What was I? We were going to talk about a couple of things. Oh,
you teased
communities.
something.
I love communities. What do you think of communities? I think this is actually going to revitalize Google Plus, because so for instance, I joined an espresso community. Mark Prince of CoffeeGeek.com has an espresso community, and what you do is it's kind of like Google Groups, except because it's Google Plus, it's much more feature rich. You create discussions. He has one on photos of espresso.
Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah, can you put it on the screen? It's beautiful.
Now,
So
how is this any different from Facebook groups, which went so well?
yeah, I don't know why Facebook groups didn't take off. I think I have to say,
So if Facebook
Plus
groups,
is
This
if
looks like a
Facebook couldn't do
Tumblr
it-
blog.
well, no, that's just
If Facebook couldn't do it, how is Google, which is much less adept at social technologies, going to be able to do it?
because I think the software on this is far improved. It integrates with events and Hangouts. I just think it's much
Hangouts is the one thing Google Plus has going for
pretty
it.
good. And events
What
is
do you
pretty
like
good.
about Hangouts?
It's easier than Skype for most people. I think that's what
It's good for parties.
anyone likes about it. Really? What kind of parties are you having, sir?
Very nerdy. Ooh, look,
Deeply.
Ingress United. I'm trying to get into Ingress. If you're one of the developers of Ingress,
I can give you my code, Leo.
He's got it.
what?
Sorry, I didn't know you needed one.
What?
What do you want to get the Ingress thing going for?
It's okay. What is Ingress? It's a game.
So it's a
augmented
game-
reality
To
game.
me, it's a database management
no,
system.
not Ingress. Ingress, like coming in, Ingress, like a Ingress. So it's a game you play on your Android phone.
Right.
You open the Ingress game, and it's augmented reality. So you're looking at the world through your camera, but there's stuff superimposed on it. No?
No. So it's not. There may be augmented reality aspects later, but it's reality maps. So there's a big map, and then you walk around the world collecting sort of like XP orbs, and then you can hack these portals, which are normally.
Oh, this is that Android game.
Yes.
Oh, you know what this is all about?
I'm actually borrowing an Android just because I got an invite for that.
You got an invite too?
Don't you guys realize you're being duped by this game?
Oh, come on. What, are the insurance companies going to steal our information?
Well, there's that possibility. But the real use of this game is for Google to further improve their mapping. So you encourage to take pictures of everything. And so
Is that right, Chad? Is that what you're doing?
You can. So I haven't gotten far past the tutorial level, but one of the things that they might do in the future is like, we need information. So go to this place, and then you like type in what time the business opens and closes.
Is it
so
incentivized?
that it's now
Like,
in
do you
Google
get
Maps.
points
So you
for
don't
paying
think
for that?
Foursquare's doing that?
this is like, yeah, but they're doing it for Google. Google's
No.
what they make. There's a company making billions of dollars, and they're too cheap to do this themselves. They want you to do it for
This
free.
is actually
this is
That's
like
smart.
a scam.
This is like a Bruce Sterling short story.
horrible.
The idea where you took social networking and then elevated an intelligence to manage interactions on the social network, and you could actually have some really fascinating things like practical jokes that involved 15 people or cracking into places. And everybody did a component. If they did their component, they got more points. They got their status raised, and then you had this amazing, untraceable group of people working on projects.
Well, this is similar. And I guess at the end of the day, you get a badge. Oh,
It's
boy.
just like Foursquare. You obviously
a
never did
badge?
Foursquare.
You get a badge.
Oh
Actually,
my gosh.
I'm
Let's
very
do
proud
it right
of my
now,
I'm very
John.
proud of my Foursquare badges. I got crunked.
Unbelievable.
My
That is
God.
so cool. They get a badge.
Playa Please. I got Playa Please. That's if you check in to a bar with 4 or more women.
But what if you're gay?
Then it wouldn't.
That has always been my problem
Is
with
it-
the Play a Please badge.
It's
you
only-
only get it if you have opposite. What if you're a gay man
Oh, that's a good
and you
point.
don't need the ladies and you're not really
That's
having
an
anything
interesting
in common
point.
with
I
the
never
ladies
thought
and you
of
just
that.
hang out with dudes, just
actually,
bros all the
quick,
time.
somebody do a Google search. Gay badges on Foursquare ?
I want to know,
Let's
like
find
the
out.
bears. I want a bear badge. I want
Bears?
a leather daddy badge. No, I do want.
Would
a
you?
leather
I can
daddy
introduce
badge.
you to my dog walker. He can give you all the leather daddy badgery you need. He was
Leather-
Mr.
leather
Hey, this
daddy
is going
badgery?
downhill.
That's a good
I don't
band
even
name.
know what you guys
Okay,
are
yeah,
talking
let's
about.
Yeah,
bring
but there's
the
like 8 people in the
tone.
audience that have turned pink and fallen off their chairs laughing.
I wish.
No, and they're trust me.
See all
they're
the
out there.
badges?
Okay.
I got 56 badges on Foursquare. Now,
That is so
God, Leo.
cool.
Players Club, Shutterbug, Back to School, Triple Play, Fresh
what's the
Brew,
rat
Mall
one?
Rat. That's Mall Rat.
Where's the badge you get for staying at home all the time?
Don't got that one.
'Cause-
I wouldn't know. Wino,
He's too busy.
Jet Setter, Train Spotter, Pizziolo.
Is that beekeeping?
beekeeping?
You're a
No, it's
beekeeper?
Super Swarm Sunday.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was last Super Bowl.
Whee!
Last year's Super Bowl.
So what is Foursquare's business model?
I don't know, but I have a feeling it has
badges.
something to do with
Badges.
Ingress. It's the same idea. They get you to go around and log
Yeah,
into
and
places.
do
Basically,
work for
all
them.
these badges are just like nicer ways of calling you a drunk or a skank, right?
Or Gym Rat.
Or a gym rat.
A drunk or a
superstar?
skank? What's
I'm
the
a superstar.
skank badge look like?
Playa, please.
Playa, please. I got that one. New Year's Eve 2011, Le Web.
Okay, we're done. Let's
Get
back to news.
So you got a pass to Ingress, huh?
Yeah, I'm forwarding it to you right now.
So is that all I need? Like you can invite somebody else?
Well, no, I actually
we
got
got a
two.
show to do here, people.
I got two of them, so it's a code that you put into your
I did my part.
your app.
Oh, good, because I
Good Lord, this is.
we don't need those stinking badges, is what John says.
That may even be better than waggling menacingly.
So, but it's, in all seriousness, John, you act so incensed by this.
I'm
What if it's a fun game? I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Here's the developer.
This is
The
like
road to hell is paved with fun games.
No, you guys are such
exactly.
like,
She's right.
That's why
nervous
you have us
Nellies.
here together so that we can gang up on you and tell you that, you have to think about all the other angles of this. You're gathering information on businesses and people and locations.
Yeah, what,
You're
you-
doing
you're
it
not
for
even getting
free
paid as a
for
spy.
a badge.
Where did you put the activation code?
Oh, please. What other news is there? Don't you have another ad to do?
There's got to be.
I think you're
had
falling
some
behind.
Look, what is that,
wonky
Chad?
news.
So this is Petaluma. Let me find.
Are you
Petaluma.
even playing
Here
in
we are.
Petal? Are there other people playing in Petal?
So there's other things. Where am I?
and suddenly I'm hearing the Mission Impossible theme.
There we are. So in Petaluma, there's a few nodes that you can get. There's once it loads in. This is ingress.com/intel. So this is sort of a portal to look at the rest of the game. These right here are these nodes that you can capture and hack. And once here's some more that are loading in. So there's sort of two factions in the game. There's the Enlightened and then there's the Resistance, and each of them are battling over these nodes. And when you connect them up, it gives you land mass.
Did they totally steal that from Firefly or what?
This is the worst.
Or WoW.
This sounds like the worst game ever.
So stop fudging around and send me my gosh darn invite.
Okay, here we go. I got to jump back into my inbox to send that to you.
I want to play. See how they make it something you really want to do by making it, you have to get a
I think you're
Something
better.
who really
I think
wants
she's
to
got the
do.
right idea. Baked goods. It's a better use of your time than this kind of thing.
There's a badge for that, John.
I'm sure there is.
That's what Jennifer told me when I was doing the, We Rule all the time. And she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm farming. She said, why don't you actually plant some real
Yeah,
vegetables?
why don't you
Then at
go
least
in the
we'd have some
backyard and
vegetables."
dig up some turf and put some seeds?
I said, it's soothing. I said, it's like knitting. She said, if you were knitting, we'd have socks.
In other words, I
Have you
think
considered a tech shop membership?
yeah, that would be at least something.
You're working
No,
with
no,
your
no, 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 no,
hands,
no, 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 no,
hanging
no.
out with all those earthy, crunchy maker kids.
Tech shop.
I
He's
don't
so
like
good.
doing physical.
It would be two-fingered
That
Leo,
makes
and he'd be
four of
relearning
us.
how to type.
Yeah, I don't like physical world. I like the
And
the
worse, it'd be done with
metaphysical.
a laser. My hand.
At least it'd be cauterized.
So Vic Gundotra, who is the guy who put together Google Plus, stopped tweeting when Google Plus launched, and everybody thought, oh well, he's just showing that he really, is all in on Google Plus. Turns out he was told to stop tweeting. He had tweeted when the Microsoft and Nokia announced they were doing a strategic alliance. He tweeted, "Two turkeys do not an eagle make," and he was told that I think you better stop tweeting now.
That's not even terribly clever. I would tell him to stop tweeting
No,
too.
who
Was it-
cares?
What is it? This is the Google executives telling him to stop tweeting?
Yeah, his boss.
That's terrible. What boss? What's his name? We should
say.
out him.
Well, I
This is
mean,
it.
if you look at corporate communications from Google, they take a lot of care to not speak really openly about what their competitors
Oh.
are doing. I mean, that's just corporate PR in
His
general.
boss, Larry Page.
Larry Page personally told him to stop tweeting?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'd buy
I
that.
find that to be peculiar.
It was probably a suggestion. It was like, Vic.
Maybe if you
But is
stop
he allowed to
tweeting,
call
you'd
them
still
turkeys on
have a
Google
job.
Plus? That's the real question. Does he get sassy over on Google Plus? I don't
Apparently
know.
no one's
Work in
watching
the
to find
weekends,
out.
Vic. Maybe you ought to.
On Saturday.
You know, Vic,
Saturday's good.
Might be a good idea not for you to use Twitter anymore. Twitter and Instagram have had a little falling out. What do you think of this, Jolie? Did you write about this adventure
girl,
beat?
It's Facebook. I don't know why everybody is not like pitting the tail on the donkey here.
So
The reason Twitter and Instagram are having a problem is because Instagram is owned by Facebook.
right.
That's pretty straightforward, and I think anybody who would look at the situation would have seen that coming, I don't know, like a billion months ago. when
So
the
Instagram was
acquisition
purchased by
first.
Facebook. Their CEO,
Right.
Kevin Systrom, said, don't worry, it's not going to change Instagram at all.
That is BS, complete and total.
But all of a sudden...
Instagram has better integrations with Facebook now, unless
Right.
I'm hallucinating, and no integrations with Twitter because what did you expect?
Right.
Who really listens to CEOs and says, oh, okay, sure, yeah, that sounds good. You know, Tim Cook or Kevin Systrom or whomever, they say what they need to say in the moment to make themselves and their companies look good. But in reality, they do what's profitable for the business, and it doesn't make sense for a Facebook product to play nicely with Twitter.
Except for users.
You make me sound so angry.
Remember users, right?
What about them?
Well, I
They
would
don't
like...
pay for anything.
So what
They're not gonna
Instagram
stop
disabled
using it.
was this... They were supporting the the Twitter cards, which is what Twitter wants everybody to do.
What?
Twitter has an API. They want content that is going to be on Twitter. In this case, so I take a picture of you eating a fine brownie, and I post it on my Instagram, and I check the box that says cross-post to Twitter. So then there'll be a tweet from me with a link to the Instagram thing. If you're using the Twitter client or an appropriately configured Twitter client, third-party client, the picture will show up in line with the tweet in an appropriate way, because Instagram was supporting this API that Twitter has published about how to publish photos so that they show up. Instagram just disabled that. So now you're going to get something haphazard, or maybe not an image at all, but just a link.
Well, initially you were basically getting broken images or
Right.
missing links. So is there any legitimacy to what a lot of places, including Twitter, are doing, where they're trying to get people to not use third-party clients, or basically to be forced? But what Instagram says, hey, we want everybody to come back to Instagram so we
Right.
get the data, so we have the advertising opportunity.
They want you to go. So what they want is that you'll click the link and go to the Instagram page.
Instagram doesn't have ads, though.
Instagram basically, Instagram
And
basically
they're-
says they're going to say standalone, and at some point, in theory, right,
Well,
they
they
do need
don't
a better
have a
revenue
business
stream.
model of their own anymore because they're a wholly owned entity of Facebook.
I'm not arguing. And I do
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
there's a puppet hand from Facebook that's telling Instagram what to do. But is there any legitimacy to other actions by social media companies where they are trying to claim that they want people to come to their site to get the data?
I worked or I've talked with Twitter a lot about the whole them pulling back the API. And it really wasn't anything like this. I think they're actually trying to get people to use Twitter cards in the same way that Twitter is trying to get people to use Open Graph and Timeline.
Right.
I don't think they're
Facebook is
discouraging that at all.
Right.
Twitter is discouraging people from making Twitter clients, which Instagram never
Twitter
has.
is discouraging people from making good Twitter clients because they make enough
Any
bad
Twitter
internal
clients.
clients. Yeah.
Anything with more than 100,000 users is not, that would be a good Twitter client.
But
So, yeah.
it's frustrating because they've either made it expensive to make a Twitter client or expensive to have any kind of a large group of Twitter. It seems like every Twitter client that Twitter has bought has been lessened and made less useful.
Absolutely.
Really? TweetDeck and Tweety?
Yeah, no, they just
okay.
damaged them. Because what Twitter really wants is you to use their web page. And by the way, the web page is where these cards, these Twitter cards work. And Instagram saying, no, we want you to go to our web page, not Twitter's web page. So it's a little between a little tiff between the two social media giants. But I loved the chatter, and I don't have his handle, who said, geez, social media should not be this exhausting. Web 5089, I agree with you.
Well, it's not even social media. It's just...
It should be fun.
It's business that we're talking
That's the
about. We're not
problem.
talking about social
They've
friggin'
turned it
media.
into business.
It's always been
Well,
business
is it smart
stalling.
business or stupid business?
Well, that's the problem. If you're going to do it, it
Well,
should
no,
be
in 10
fun.
years?
It should embrace users. It should be something users like. And it shouldn't be, you shouldn't be sacrificing your users to your business interests, because in the long run, that's a short-term way of doing
Would that
it.
we all learned to pay for what we use on the internet back in 1993.
Well, but see, I paid for
Then we
app.net,
wouldn't be
right?
having
$50.
this
The idea was it's a paid Twitter, and you'll have a higher level of
Who
conversation.
made that one? Was that Evan guy?
It was.
No, that was the other one. Okay, never
no.
mind. Don't listen.
App.net is, his name escapes me.
Okay.
But
So you paid for that.
Yeah,
How's that
$50. Not so great.
Well, I mean, if you look at the
That's the
diaspora
problem.
guys
problem.
and
That's the
problem.
Evan, who made
I
the
paid
other
for
Twitter,
diaspora too.
Yep.
it never will work
Why not?
because
Dalton Caldwell, thank you.
Okay,
Dalton
there we go.
Caldwell
Sideways.
here.
Yeah, it's an ad-free network. Now they've got it down to $5 a month, so that's only $60. Wait a minute, $36 for a year. And I like the idea. Tapbots did a great app for iPhone for it. It's basically TweetBot with app.net in addition. But it's just not compelling because you really want to be on the network where all your friends are, right?
And none of your friends are smart enough to do that, and they're not going to pay the
They're
money
not
to
going to
do
pay.
that.
No one's going to pay $36
Your grandma
for a
isn't
year.
going to sit
No.
around and set up
It's
all
just not
this
that useful.
BS open source hippy dippy
Right.
crap.
Exactly.
They're going to go and sign up for a Facebook. Well, you're going to sign them up for a Facebook account, but still.
Hey, good news for Kodak. Remember Kodak Chapter 11 not doing so well? They thought maybe they could get a savior, an angel, if they sold their patents. They have a buyer. Google and Apple are teaming up to offer $500,000 for Kodak's patents.
They're
Half a
not
million.
bidding against
$500
each
million.
other?
Did I say $500,000?
Yeah.
$500 million.
Okay, it's more like it.
So why are they working together?
But that's really
on this?
strange because Google and Apple are here. I mean, don't they want these patents to defend against each other?
Well, apparently in this case, they're going to use it to defend against Microsoft or somebody else.
Isn't
They're
that
gonna-
interesting?
This is a bunch of people, or maybe Samsung. I mean, this is a bunch of.
But Google and
jockeys.
Well,
Samsung
Google's
are
a
in-
Samsung
are in-
partner,
are
and
in
Apple's
bed.
like
That's true.
Apple and Samsung. That's a whole nother story.
I mean, the whole thing
Yeah,
is
I don't
ridiculous.
understand why they're teaming up on this because Apple and Google have. Well,
Get
okay,
this.
Apple has been sideways, kind of attacking Google in patent.
Not even
theater.
sideways.
I won't
yeah.
even call it court.
Get this. They
for years.
previously tried to do it with Microsoft and Intellectual Ventures. Apple, Microsoft, Intellectual Ventures.
Isn't Intellectual Ventures that patent troll firm? Yeah. No?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
That's the spin-off? It was
It's
Paul
what- it's-
Allen's.
No, it's not Allen's. It's what's his name? It's
Nathan Myhrvold? Is that
yeah,
his?
Myhrvold's operation.
I thought it was Paul Allen's spin-off of. It's a private company notable for being one of the top 5 owners of U.S. patents.
Yeah, it's Myhrvold.
Yeah.
So
Keep wanting to have
Founded
lunch
by
with
Nathan Myhrvold and Edward Young of Microsoft, later
I
joined
keep
by
wanting to go up
co-founders
there and
Dan.
have lunch with him, and I never do it.
Well, you would think Myhrvold is one of the
Myhrvold.
smartest guys out there, right?
Yeah, he's very smart. He's very sharp. He's got a good, and he's a nice guy.
It turns out he's a Bond evil villain.
Well, that's what it looks like, but I don't think so. I think it's just he just plays one with this.
Is
company.
he saying there's so much money I can't ignore this? Originally, he said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to support people by owning these patents. We're going to make it easier to innovate. And now what he's apparently
patents
doing
are
is...
like the opposite of making
I think
anything.
so.
Vince Cerf was speaking at a recent thing that I was at. It was at Google, and he said, the best thing you could do for innovation is to round up all the patent lawyers and like shoot them.
I think Shakespeare said that first.
No, he said this specifically about patent law and innovation and cell phones.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the
Shakespeare, I
internet.
think, said all lawyers.
Kill all the lawyers. First thing
Well,
we
he
do
only
is
said
kill
the
all the
patent
lawyers.
I think Vint would want to keep, I don't know, the three-piece suit lawyers. He's
I don't
a
know if the
snazzy
patent
dresser.
lawyers are the problem. I think the patent system is the problem. See that Apple, the so-called Steve Jobs patent, the multi-touch patent, was just invalidated by the USPTO.
No, there you
Yeah,
go.
but the level at which it's been invalidated is kind of like it's not real. It's going to go through multiple rounds of quote validation unquote.
It's a tentative ruling that it is an invalid patent.
But apparently, it's quite normal for stuff to be called invalid at this level, and then at the more serious levels to be validated.
Right.
In terms of patent decisions,
It can be appealed.
it will be appealed.
This is patent 949, which was one of the relevant patents in the Samsung Apple case. All 20 claims were ruled invalid, which means Apple, according to Florian Mueller and Foss Patents, will have to make an unusually strong
Okay,
case.
you can't listen to Florian. He is
I know.
paid by...
He works for
whom-
Google.
Yeah.
I know.
No, it wasn't even
Was it
Google. It was
Google?
Microsoft, because I remember
That's
I
right.
was covering the Oracle Google case, and some Florian Mueller, as a commentator, an analyst, I interviewed him one time, and I got a call from my sources at Google, and they said, he's paid by
Right.
Microsoft. Maybe you should talk to more neutral
Well,
people. I was like, what, like
I
you
think
guys?
that's unfair because what he was paid for was a very kind of a he's a
Well, he
John's
was
been paid for as an
he
expert
was
witness. It was that
hinky
kind of
about
thing.
it.
Yeah, I've done
he
that
didn't
expert witness work.
disclose that, and I think that's
Google
where
disclosed it, which was funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was even before that. No, he was known as a paid Microsoft contractor type person before that whole
Well, in this
who
case,
paid bloggers thing
in this
came
case,
out.
it's Apple and it's multi-touch. I don't know if we have to, if he has a dog in this particular hunt.
Once a dog, always a dog. I cannot take anybody seriously once I know that they've been paid by a corporation.
Apple, by the way,
Who pays you?
VentureBeat.
Aren't they a
And they're
corporation?
I don't know. We might be an LLP.
Is there advertising on VentureBeat?
Is there advertising? That's a good question.
No, yeah, there is.
So
it's
you're
weird.
major
Don't you think
I
that
know.
that's corrupt?
I know. It's totally
That's what we
corrupt.
say on
I'm
the
super,
No Agenda show,
super
by the way.
corrupt.
NoAgenda.com. Check it out.
What do you
outside
say?
of like
Who's not
consumer
corrupt?
consumer
We don't
reports,
have
practical
advertising
sailor,
on the show, and that's the
Cooks. Let's see. I can think of like 4 or 5 magazines or websites that are completely.
Cooks. I like
viewer-supported.
Cooks for that reason.
What's Cooks?
It's a great cooking magazine where they take no ads.
Oh yeah, Cooks.
Yeah. Love that guy.
Oh, didn't Ms. used to take no ads because the only ads they would get were for like tampons and stuff, and they wanted ads for like cars and watches and. Okay.
That's
I'll
all
always
I-
talk about football and
You know,
I'll talk about the whole
I've turned down
lady thing.
tampon ads for years on TWiT. Oh, I thank you, Chad. I am now using Ingress.
We're not getting back on this stupid thing again.
I'll take a break while I play Ingress.
The rest
Hey,
of us.
isn't Tom Merritt back there somewhere, waiting to come on the air?
Tom, is what's coming up in the week ahead? He's not, apparently.
Catches him off guard.
He moved to L.A.
Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be keeping
And
an
I
eye on
believe
in
it
the
was
week ahead
Miz.
on Tech News Today.
Yeah, it
On
was
Monday,
Miz.
December 10th, it's your last chance to vote on Facebook's rule changes, which get rid of your ability to vote on Facebook rule changes. Tuesday, December 11th, companies who want to participate in the 4G spectrum auction in the UK must have their submissions into Ofcom. Wednesday, December 12th, the Pope starts tweeting at Pontifex. Thursday, December 13th, Panasonic Lumix GH3 launches. Friday, December 14th is busy. China gets the iPhone 5. Support for the Messages beta app on Lion will be pulled. And it's the last day of that International Telecommunications Union conference in Dubai. And, of course, we'll be keeping an eye on that all week long. Saturday, December 15th, The Daily shuts down. That's the iPad-only newspaper. And Verizon Video Service is shut down as well, probably in anticipation of launching Redbox Instant. That's a look at the week ahead. Back to you, Leo.
So it says, what?
Well, didn't Tom just ran off, so I can't talk to him. But wasn't this more of like the week ahead, and he would talk about swap meets and these kinds of things. This is more of a news rundown.
Yeah, we're kind of giving you like the stories that we will be covering this
in the
week
week, but it's not the same as it used to be. It used to be like
swap meets.
This week we're going to have a swap meet in the San Mateo County
Report.
Fair.
We used to do that too. Corn prices. I used to do the farm report. You know.
No,
when
I
I
didn't.
started in radio, I read the farm report. Corn prices are down $1.30 a bushel this week.
So what's the reason for this switchover? This is like his tech news report. Doesn't seem like
We decided that it would be better if Tech News Today would be about tech news instead of farm report.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Well, I
Tech
missed
News
out on
Today-
it. You used to say, well, there was going to be
I
a big
know, I
convention
know.
in Vegas. The NAB's this week. You would say something like that.
No, actually, the big deal is $7 bottles of Bordeaux at Costco this week under the Kirkland brand name.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody in the chat room knows about it
Run
already.
out and get it. Any Costco anywhere in the nation.
I've checked 3 Costcos and they all have it. And all you have to do is go to the wine guy. And there's usually floating around there.
Say, where's my
and,
Kirkland
And you
Bordeaux?
say, where's the cheap $7 Bordeaux? And they always say down there. It's with the bulk wines. It's not with the main wines.
Is there a picture of the Chateau Kirkland?
No, there's not. I think this is the problem. I think this is bad marketing. If they could put a Kirkland label and make it something fancy looking instead of that cheap looking Costco label.
Because Kirkland's their house brand.
Yeah, it's their house brand.
So is this grown in Washington State?
No, it's a Bordeaux. They bought the Chateau production of some Chateau in Bordeaux, some superior.
Bottle that sucker up.
It's Entre de Mer probably. Yeah. Bottled her up, moved it out, and
it's good, you're saying.
It is. It's actually very good.
About?
Yeah, it's quite good.
This crap with the Kirkland thing. Why are we talking about this? I have
it's
no
20
idea.
to no. That's a Carneros Pinot, but they have that as
But
well.
it's the same similar label.
Same thing. The Kirkland brand. Yeah.
It's hideous.
So I mean,
you haven't tasted that wine.
I'm signing into Ingress.
You know not of what you speak.
No,
I think you'll like this, John.
I have Marshall McLuhan right here. I'm sorry. Go on.
I love that. I have. This is the login for Ingress. Warning. I'm going to confirm my participation.
Don't you think wine would have been a better topic?
Saving the world is dangerous. If you do not want to assume this risk, now is your chance to close this app and go back to your normal life.
Close it.
There you go.
Wait,
Normal
there's
life.
more.
They're assuming he
your
has a normal
location will
life.
be collected by Google and shared with other users of the product.
There you have it.
Read the full terms of service before.
Are you reading? He's reading the
accepting.
terms, thank God.
That won't make
Do you,
it.
do you read the terms? Go ahead. Would you read
Now
the terms
I do.
for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Privacy, you have none. Your code name and location will be shared with all other users.
Of course,
when
'cause you can't play a game
You don't
unless-
even have to check in. When you visit a location, your location will be shared. You
Is
could
that
go
true,
to a
Chad?
strip
I don't
It's
have
gonna
to
follow you
It
around
says
like
it
a
right
dog.
here.
There is no checking in on the
You don't
service.
have to check in.
It
It
checks
says when
you
you go to
in
a
by
location,
itself.
No,
it
no,
will
no, no.
tell
It's you
everybody.
have to hack a node, and when you hack a node, it will say this user is hacking a node.
So is it stalker enabling?
So,
Yep. Yeah.
Or is your
there tend to
identity-
not be nodes at your house. They're big public events. So,
Right.
like the post office is a
Right.
node, or
Is it
Big
a
public event? What?
not a public event, but like a
Public
big
venue.
public
You
venue.
millennials and your
Venue.
big
Right.
public
Right.
events.
Public
Yeah.
venue.
We
That's
all
what
go
it is.
drink at the post office after the show. It's a big deal in
You won't let us hang
Petaluma.
out in the 7-Eleven anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be a statue.
You guys
it
are
could
such
be-
killjoys. I just want to have a good time.
You shouldn't invite us on.
Bring it, Leo.
So
Go
get ready
play
to.
Scrabble.
The thing is, you got
Read
to
a book.
be ready to walk.
There's a
But
lot
if
of
you
good
play
books out
Scrabble,
there.
they collect your words and then they sell you
No,
ads.
with
based on
the,
your
And then
words.
they
with the
sell it.
box
They
that goes
collect your
on
soul.
the table.
You can never say those words
Go
again.
spoon
Physical
with
squabble.
somebody.
Physical squabble.
Yeah.
Our show today brought to you by Squarespace.com. Got a great email from Keith. I'm going to read it again if I can find it. He is a new Squarespace user, and I guess he uses his Squarespace site. He's a DJ, and he uses his Squarespace site in his work in some way. I'm not sure exactly how it is, but he said he was a little concerned when Hurricane Sandy was heading towards the East Coast because he was afraid his site would go down. So he offloaded all the images on his site. He knew he would need it. Here, I'll read it actually. Says, Dear Leo, I've been using Squarespace since June of this year. When the hurricane hit New York City, I, like others, got the email saying that Pier 1, Squarespace's colo, had been hit hard. I remembered that day you saying over and over in your podcast that Squarespace sites never go down. I watched and even took the precaution of moving over 5,000 graphics from my Squarespace site to PhotoBucket. I run an online radio station and virtual nightclub and rely on these graphics heavily. We kept an eye on things and suffered only 35 seconds of downtime for the entire time that Pier 1 had a flooded basement. See, the generators were in the basement at Pier 1. There was one generator, a lone generator on the roof, and Anthony Castellana, the CEO of Squarespace, and other Squarespace employees basically created an old-fashioned bucket brigade to move fuel from the basement to the roof to keep the emergency generators running. I have never seen, Keith goes on to say, such determination to keep a data center online in my life. This one act of putting the customers first will keep me as a Squarespace member for as long as I run a website. I recently added Squarespace 6 to the site, and I love how they don't charge me a penny more to basically have two websites in one. I use Hover for my domain registration. I'm very pleased with that service as well. Just want to thank you for recommending a great service like Squarespace and wanted all the TWiT listeners to know there's nothing like a Squarespace site. Squarespace is the best hosting, no doubt about it. You cannot bring a Squarespace site down, but it's more than that because on top of it is the best content management system out there. It is fast, it is easy, it is beautiful. In fact, if you're an artist, a photographer, a designer, a Squarespace site is a great way to show off your work, your portfolio, because it's going to look as good as you do. You're an aesthetic person. You want an aesthetic-looking site. And Squarespace is so great. No mobile site necessary because all of their sites look great on all screens. They do a lot of work. It's called mobile-ready responsive design. That's the industry term. HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, all the whiz-bang features of great modern websites, but you don't have to know any of that. It'll do it all automatically. Now, if you do, they have a fantastic developer platform. So you can do all the coding you want. They have syntax-colored coding and all of that. Your neckbeard boy will love that. Aaron's going,
He's shaking his head.
Squarespace also integrates beautifully with your social media. You can publish to and from social media with a few clicks. 300 fonts using Google Fonts. That's kind of a nice feature. You like Google Fonts, right, Aaron? Isn't that cool? The ability to use real fonts on a website. Just fantastic. I want you to try it. Here's the deal. You don't even need our name or code or anything to try it free for 2 weeks. Don't need a credit card. Just go to squarespace.com. Click the button that says give it a try. After 2 weeks, if you decide to buy, I want you to use the offer code TWiT12. You'll save 10% off your first purchase. Now, let me just talk briefly about Squarespace pricing because they have simplified this. They used to have many different plans. It's really simple now. There's basically two plans. There's the standard plan and the unlimited plan. When you buy a year, it's $8 a month for standard, $16 a month for unlimited. That's the one I recommend, and here's why. Unlimited pages, galleries, and blogs. So that's what Keith was talking about. You can have as many websites as you want on one account, basically. Unlimited bandwidth. That means even if suddenly you become the hottest thing since sliced bread, not going to cost you more. No bills for bandwidth. Unlimited storage. That's great for a photographer. You can upload as many pictures as you want. Each of your clients can have a different site on Squarespace. I mean, it's just fantastic. Unlimited contributors. When you sign up for the year plan on either of these plans, they will give you a domain name for free and they'll hook it up. I just think this is such a great deal. And by the way, if you use the offer code TWiT12, it's an even better deal because you get 10% off. That's why it's best to go for the year plan to get the most savings. TWiT12, the offer code. It's hip to be square. Squarespace.com.
You know, we use that Squarespace
for No Agenda?
Yeah, noagendashow.com is Squarespace.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have you don't do advertisers?
We don't do advertisers. No, we refuse
it's
to take
donations.
Yes.
And you're doing pretty well.
We're eking out a living.
That sounds like what that sounds like is you're doing really well and you don't want anybody to know.
No, we're eking out a living. It depends on what a living is to you.
The Koch brothers sponsor them.
Yeah.
I wish.
Brought to you by. Hey, we got an award, by the way. Thank you, Stitcher. I forgot.
Bring the award out.
John, could you bring me the Stitcher award that we got?
Whatever was it for?
Best Tech Show. The reason I thought of that is because I was talking to Mark Maron. He was there. He won Best Episode for his show, WTF, which is he is
unbelievably funny.
Very funny. Profane as hell, but very funny.
I saw him, Janine Garofalo, and Henry Rollins in one night in L.A., which was
must have been awesome.
Wow.
Painfully funny.
He's really talented comic, and he interviews great people. It was the best podcast episode of the year. It was his interview with Tenacious D. But Mark was there, and I was talking with him. Yeah, I know. You got to download that episode. I was talking with him, and he says, I'm making a living doing this. Podcasting, one show. I think
he only does one show?
He does one show a week.
Oh, one show a week.
And I said, are you still gigging? He said, yeah. But he said, but this is a good business. And they do advertising, but he said, that's a good business. And then they do other things. They also, like you, I'm sorry, John, it's on the shelf, on the top shelf on the right, behind my desk.
Where the brandy usually is.
Right by the...
where the cognac that he took home used to be.
Next to the Look Humble picture there. That's my motto, Look Humble.
You're good at it.
I look that way. I'm a humble-looking man. So we want to thank Stitcher. Yeah. 2012 Stitcher Awards, Best Tech, This Week in Tech.
Let's see.
Yeah, I was very happy to win that. Stitcher, is that app that lets you download podcasts. It's kind of...
well, congratulations.
Oh, look, it stands up by itself.
Barely. I felt bad. The guy who hosts the Skeptic podcast broke his.
Oh,
yeah, I
it's
felt
made
bad.
out of glass. It's very breakable.
Yeah, treat it carefully.
Hopefully,
what were we talking about? Oh, tech news. Let's get back to the tech news.
We have a few minutes left.
Are we running? Oh, man, we are running out of time. Office 2013 rolled out to business customers. If you're not a business customer, you're going to have to wait till 2013.
Has anybody played with this yet?
I have.
Okay.
Like it?
You do?
Yep.
Why?
It's Office.
It's very cloudy.
I mean, it's very cloudy.
It's very cloudy. Is
there anything that makes it easier to do business?
No. But I like the idea, now, and I know you're skeptical of this, but I like the idea that my documents are stored in the cloud and I can get to them anywhere.
Well, for a business, that makes a lot of sense because, devices can be interchangeable and you don't want local document storage for a lot of things. So it's nice that Microsoft is catching up to Google and Dropbox and every other
what's funny is that Google now is charging for Google Apps, even people who had it for free.
I couldn't believe, I know at least 4 people who are rabidly pissed because they run all their family URLs through that.
It's free. It was.
And they're grandmothered in as long as they don't add any new accounts.
Oh.
I appreciate your switching up the gender on that. Why are they grandmothered in instead of grandfathered in? Just
they're grandmothered in? Is that what he said?
That was for you, for the
He's
business.
very politically correct.
They're grandmothered.
So explain to me, because Google Apps for Business. So there's Google Docs, which is still free.
Yes.
Google Apps is what compared to Google Docs? It's just Google Docs on steroids, kind of.
Google Docs for groups, essentially.
Aha.
And they had a free version and a paid version. The paid version was what you wanted to run a business on, and a lot of smaller businesses and families and people who just wanted to run URLs with email and such were running them on the free version.
We use Google Apps as a business, so if you go to mail.twit.tv, what you'll get is a Gmail that is a Google Apps account, the Google Apps account. Actually, it's funny because, Chad, don't we still use our free Google Apps account for like the rundowns and stuff that we share? Or is that on our... I don't think that's on the apps domain.
No, that is.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because every time I invite someone outside of the apps, it goes, you sure?
Oh, okay, good.
You sure?
So we're paying for that.
Yeah.
But so there was like a mini version of this that used to be free? Not anymore. You're going to have to pay for it.
$50 a head per year.
That's pretty high.
That's the business cost. They're not giving you a break, huh?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Someone's not
Tristan's
happy with that.
unhappy at Google.
Right
yeah,
at the
after
time
hearing that price, I would be too.
Yeah.
I was almost going to make that noise.
What makes it also interesting is that Outlook is now becoming essentially the Google Docs of Microsoft with the online storage
Right.
and multiple
Right.
applications and stuff.
And Office 365 is not free, but it's fairly cheap.
What does that mean?
$5 a month, $4 a month, something like that.
$60 a year.
So it's the same, I guess.
So yeah.
Just seems cheaper because you pay them by the month.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. Did you see? Now, I want to know what you think of this. So, Reed Hastings, CEO of Netflix. In June, Netflix hits 1 billion streams.
This is very controversial.
He puts this out on his Facebook page. He has 200,000 subscribers on his Facebook page. So he does a status message. For the first time, we streamed 1 billion hours in June.
Right.
SEC has filed a Wells notice saying we're going to prosecute.
Yeah. Well,
because this is material information that should have been published to stockholders in an official way or a press release.
Channels, yeah.
Well,
Or-
it counts as a press release because
That's a press release.
because the media ended up covering it the same way they would with the press
Sure
release.
they did.
There's an out that he could have got out of. There's a process that you could have done the next day, which would include doing the official press release, because you have to do these things through channels. It's just one of the rules. And they didn't do that. That's the real screw up. They had 24 hours to fix this problem. And so what they did was they let the media itself create an unofficial press release, which wasn't a press release, because I, as an investor, do not have access to his Facebook account.
Yes, you do. It's public.
Well, I don't use Facebook.
Okay.
And I don't expect to be finding, even though most smart investors, they got Twitter accounts, they got Facebook accounts, they're looking at everything, and but officially the channel it's not an accepted channel as far as the SEC is concerned. So this violation is going to be a fine.
He says there was press coverage, as there are many reporters and bloggers among you, my public followers.
Yeah,
Some of you
count.
reposted. Again, we did not issue a press release or file an 8K as required.
Yeah,
Staff,
he had to file an 8K the next day. Then it would have been good.
Right. The rule is designed to ensure that individual investors, this is Reed writing on Facebook, have equal access to information as large institutional investors, which I support. You don't want secret missives from the
Curiously,
CEO.
though, if you go to these analyst meetings, this is the thing that bothers
Happens
me.
all the time.
It happens all the time.
It
at
happened
these
with Facebook.
quote-unquote analyst meetings. And so if you're not invited to the analyst meeting, then they get all this inside dope, and then they get to distribute it any way
Analysts before the Facebook IPO were secretly warned by Mark Zuckerberg and other Facebook executives that they were not going to have a good quarter.
Right.
They didn't publish that publicly. Happens all the time. Meanwhile, Reed Hastings, who, first of all, is not that material. They had already told investors we're probably going to hit 1 billion hours
Right, it
next
wasn't
month.
a surprise.
Wasn't a big surprise. Posts it for 200,000 people, and he's going to get a fine.
Well, because there's they're very
rules.
There's rules.
You know who should get fined is their lawyer, because obviously they should have known that, right?
Well, it's the PR people in the company. They know. There's usually some expert that there's usually investor relations is not normal PR.
Somebody should be paying
and
attention
they
to
are
this.
always dogging this stuff, supposedly.
Now, the SEC points out the stock price went up after this post.
A lot.
He says, well...
it's just a coincidence.
The stock price was driven by a Citigroup research report.
Dude, that's bogus. No way.
I have to say, if the stock price goes up because of something you say on a social network and not in a legal forum in a way that you're supposed to, I can maybe, I don't know.
If the price goes down, it's the
Wasn't
same
that
thing.
basically what 50 Cent did with his Twitter account?
Yeah, why
last
isn't
year?
50 Cent in jail?
This bothers me too. I don't know what the deal is.
He made
Who
millions.
takes financial advice from 50 Cent?
It was
is what
essentially
I
a
wanna
pump
know.
and dump.
He
Yeah.
said, buy a stock in my water company?
Yeah.
And made millions. It skyrocketed because everybody follows Fiddy on Twitter, and these poor people, probably people like my son who's a Fiddy fan, spent his last
tweets
dollar.
are hilarious, though. He
Are
tweets
they?
stuff like, "My grandma asked me to take out the trash. What the hell? I'm rich. I shouldn't have to do this." It's really great. It's good stuff. And then the pump and dump.
Hank says Fiddy's very smart. Is he very smart?
Depends whether he goes to jail or not.
I don't. He's not,
yes.
He's not. No, he didn't get in trouble. So I guess he is
Then
smart.
he's smart.
He got in no trouble for that. To me,
I find that peculiar.
I know.
That he didn't get in trouble or that he's smart?
That he didn't get in trouble. Whether he's smart or not, I have no idea.
I'm going to follow him.
He's obviously not a dummy.
50 Cent. I say it right, by the way. That's how the kids say it.
You know what?
I thought it was
actually
50.
He asked people to say 50.
I used to
instead
say
of 50 cents.
I used to say 50 cents
50 cents.
just to drive my kids crazy.
Oh, yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if his tweets are that good. I'm on it like she on it. LOL, Instagram.
Okay, so what's the picture? But you have to click through now to find out.
Right, I
so
don't
it's
see it, and
just-
I'm
it
on
stopped
the
being
website,
funny.
and it used to be that you'd see the picture right there, but now you have to actually click and go to the Instagram site.
You
Please
know-
don't show this screen until we. Oh, good, all right.
Yes, that's great. That is great.
Chad has taken a big chance. Fitty, beast mode.
I've been taking more people off of who I follow. Anyone who posts a Foursquare thing,
Gone.
done.
That's why you don't
I
follow
want
me
that.
anymore.
Well,
No,
as a
I
matter
only,
of fact,
I
that's
only
true.
post it when I get a badge, like Crunk.
The badges, that's another thing. I see these guys
Do you
posting.
still spend time reading Twitter, though?
I
Haven't
just
people
got
stopped doing that?
I do. I just got a badge. No, because I use it as a
My
methodology
motto on
for-
Twitter is be fast to follow, but just as fast, if not faster, to drop. Because that's really what you're doing. You're cultivating,
Speaking
you're creating.
of pump and dump.
Yeah, I'll pump and dump anybody on Twitter.
What?
We'll be back in a moment with more with John C. Dvorak of No Agenda Show, Patrick Norton, and Tristan, who's sleeping. Nice boy. How did you get him to sleep? You put a thing over his head and walked around. And a little Armagnac.
That's a joke, by the way.
Is Armagnac from
there's no way.
Armenia?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Armagnac. It's Armagnac.
Armagnac. Not Armagnac.
You drink this stuff.
I did. I ordered some Armagnac, thanks to you.
Which one?
I got the... No, it was actually not the Armagnac. It
was the cognac.
It was the cognac.
It was bottled.
They
in
have.
Armenia.
We just opened a nice. I don't know what going on about it.
Can I have some more 43?
Yeah, this stuff's great.
That's good stuff. Also here, Jolie Odell from VentureBeat. What are you covering these days?
Oh, these days I cover Facebook, Google, Twitter. They're putting me on the Yahoo beat.
Now, that's an interesting one. Is Marissa Meyer going to turn Yahoo around? What's going on over there?
I don't know, but I'm just so anxious to find out. She's fascinating.
I think she is, and I think Yahoo is it's a sad tale. It's almost a morality tale for the modern internet. Here was a company that was on top of the world.
I don't know. They still
And
got some
frittered it away.
really great technologists, really clever
Right.
people working
Absolutely.
on really great projects.
How do you save
there.
that?
Change the name, I guess. Get rid of the big Y. Fix everything.
I don't know. All right, we're going to take a break. I want to talk a little bit about getting rid of your gadgets with Gazelle. We got a box going together now because I realize this is ridiculous. I have thousands of dollars of cell phones and iPods in my drawer. Gazelle, the whole idea is you've got money. There's gold in them there desk drawers. Everybody I know, every geek I know has a gadget drawer or closet or a room full of old gadgets. It's just too much trouble to figure out what to do with it, hand it off to family and friends. You should be going to GAZELLE.com and get cash for that smartphone, iPad, or iMac. Cash so you can get the new stuff. Why let this stuff just, fritter away there? You got an iPhone 4S just lying around the house. You're saying, oh, man, I just, let's see, what is it? Is it a 32 gig unlocked AT&T? $210. Bam. $210. That's what they'll pay you for. What else you got? You got a third generation iPad lying around. You'd like to buy the new one? Sure. AT&T, 32 gigabytes, $300. Now these are guaranteed for 30 days, and they pay the shipping on anything worth more than $1. So what you do is you add all this to your cart, and then you say, okay, send me a box. You get this nice box with a mailing label with shipping all prepaid. Throw the stuff in there. Package it up, send it off, and they will send you a PayPal credit, a check, or my advice to you, get the Amazon gift card because they'll bump it 5% if you get an Amazon gift card. I guess they're rebating the affiliate fee or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a nice run company. Then no wonder they've paid almost $50 million to over 400,000 customers. I just want you to remember, when you put your Christmas tree out on the curb, and the Cub Scouts come and get it. You could also be putting a box out there full of cell phones, and the Cub Scouts would come and get it and give you nothing, or Gazelle and give you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Gazelle, Gazelle.com. If you were smart, actually, I think they used to do this. They used to, I don't know if they still do. They do like charity things where you could put together a Gazelle drive, a gadget drive. I don't know if they still do that. 1 million gadgets traded. Where's my phone? I want to play Ingress. Oh, here we go.
You know, I'm looking over the Google web fonts.
Those are neat.
I haven't looked at them for a while.
Yeah,
They've got
beautiful.
a lot now. Yeah.
300 plus fonts and
607
they're up to 600
and 7.
So the idea is remember the old days where you'd have there were like 6 fonts you could use on the web. That's all anybody would guarantee that browsers support.
Right.
There was Helvetica and Courier. I mean, there just wasn't
Times
a Trebuchet,
Roman.
MS,
Comic Sans.
Comic Sans.
Comic
Georgia.
Sans, the worst.
Georgia was like your best option, and that's always sad. But
That's a sad.
Georgia was an outstanding readable
Isn't that
font.
a Michael Carter typeface?
It was some famous
We'll
guy.
Who did
get off
Georgia?
Famous
onto
guy.
the-
Famous
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, no, so.
But then Microsoft pulled most of these fonts. You can't even get them from Microsoft anymore.
Really?
Well, because apparently what had
Tom
happened is that the
Rickner and
Linux community had hacked them.
Matthew Carter and
that's what I
Tom
was
Rickner.
thinking.
Yeah,
No,
Matthew
Matthew Carter. He just did a
Beautiful
custom
stuff.
typeface for Yale a couple years ago. Great guy. So anyways, yeah.
So
Part of the new Google fonts, I think when Monotype bought Typecast, they announced that they were going to put a whole bunch of new typefaces into Google Web Fonts, and they've been working really hard. And it's wonderful for web designers.
It is because
It's so good.
you don't have
they
to
all
guarantee.
still look kind of butt ugly with weird issues of
Really?
of quality. Yeah.
Whose? The Google fonts?
Yeah, the Google fonts. Some of them do, not all
I'm
of
telling
them.
you, I'm looking at the
Some of them.
new fonts they got here. I think a few of them are
The
dynamite.
new ones are pretty
You probably
spiffy.
some of them I guess you would use for the body text, but mostly it's for headlines and graphic design.
There's a lot of body text
The
fonts
point of
here.
this is you don't have to know that the person has that font. It will automatically download if they don't and
there's
display
some-
properly.
And a lot of
been
these are
the promise
copies
Google
of-
Web Fonts
Right.
since there were 10 of them.
Right.
A lot of these are rip-offs, but it's just the way it works.
Grumpy wizards make toxic brew for the evil queen and Jack. That's the new Quick Brown Fox jumped
Do
over.
you know that
I
type
always like
fonts
heavy
cannot be
boxes.
copyrighted? Only the names of the fonts can be copyrighted.
that's
why
why-
when people
Really?
copy Helvetica, they'll copy it.
They call it Swiss.
They call it Swiss or Helv.
Right.
That's what HP used to
Well,
call
they
it.
always change, like they tweak a little thing here.
No,
and
they don't.
there.
You don't have to. If you
Well,
know,
they do.
But they
don't have to.
sometimes because they can't get a good copy. But if they have a real good copy of the font, they'll just roll it out, call it something different, and then you're in business. This has been a big scandal amongst the font designers for forever.
Apple did that when they first released the Mac. They had New York, Geneva instead of
Right,
Helvetica.
Geneva is a good example.
New York was Times New Roman, but they just called it New York.
Right.
It's kind of sad, really.
Yeah, that's what they all do. And I think there's a lot of these types of fonts in here.
What do you think
Although
of this-
Unseal Antigua, I believe, is a real font. So they're using
No, they
the
have
right
real
name.
because they bought Monotype because Monotype's evolved, right?
Yeah,
So there's some
okay.
real,
Well,
there's
Which
some real
one?
fonts.
then all
yeah.
the monotype fonts will
Right.
be in here. Okay.
Spotify tops 1 million paid subscribers in 1 year. Now the biggest music streaming service.
Is
Million?
it bigger than Pandora?
Oh, that's a good
million?
question.
A million
Pandora
doesn't
must be
sound like
bigger
an
than that.
impressive number to me.
Let's see. Let me look.
Like Justin Timberlake says, a million's not cool.
5 million paid users worldwide. And remember, it's $10 a month, so do the math. 20 million active users worldwide.
Okay, so
5
where'd that
million
1
paid
million
subscribers.
figure come from? Because 5 million
1
paid
million's
is pretty
U.S.
okay.
only. U.S. only. And Metallica is now available on Spotify.
Yeah, did you see Lars and Sean Parker making out or whatever it was with the whole thing?
You know, it's because
That was a thing
Lars
this
will
week, I
never
heard.
live down the fact that he put Napster out of business by suing them. And so I think this is just him saying, oh, you know.
I don't think he feels bad about that.
He doesn't?
I don't think
I
Sean
agree
Parker
with you.
particularly cares anymore, does he?
Probably not.
Hmm.
I think it hurt his rep.
I sure did, but
Yeah.
I don't think he feels bad about it. I agree with Patrick.
I saw an interview with him that implied that he felt bad about it.
Ugh, be very weird.
He said, okay, maybe he didn't feel bad. He said it might have been the biggest mistake I ever made. But that doesn't mean he felt bad. It just means he got a lot of heat for it. Anyway, they're on Spotify. I don't know what Pandora is. How many subscribers Do you pay for Pandora?
I do.
I love it. I do too. Pandora
I paid for it
One.
because I wanted to have a holiday party and I wanted to have awesome music and I didn't want ads. So I
Right.
paid to take the ads away.
100 million users.
Active monthly.
And that was in 2011, according to Time.com.
So I don't think Spotify can really call itself the largest. can it?
36 million a month.
Thanks.
But these are not all paid, so I don't know what the paid number is.
Well, and didn't Tim Westergren just have to go back to Congress because he's having music licensing
Founder
problems?
of Pandora, they constantly are fighting because the record industry does not recognize them as a radio station.
So how is Spotify materially different?
Because
How are they not in the same position?
Because you can
Or are
choose the
they?
song you're going to play. And so Pandora is just a radio station you don't pick. You can
Well, I
only
mean,
skip up to 4 times.
The reason Pandora's in such hot water is because artists are figuring out they're not making money from Pandora.
Right.
So when they figure out they're not making money from Spotify either, I think Spotify will be in the same position that Pandora's been in for like a decade. Or
Spotify
however long
has
it's been around.
agreements with all the labels, though. It's a way of sort of
I mean,
buying
I think
music.
Pandora had agreements or has agreements with labels as well.
No?
No, what happened was Pandora is based off of the old
streaming
web
agreements.
streaming
Yeah.
radio agreements, and
Right.
so that's how they get around it. They didn't write any.
Nothing new, right?
Right.
Spotify, those are
Spotify
all
went
Encyclopedia
to
modern
Hair.
agreements.
Yes. They
agree.
signed
Right.
agreements. Yes.
Right. What about this thing with Uber? So I love Uber. Uber, it's expensive, but it's a black car service. They actually have a taxi service
I
now.
think it's a scam.
You press
Uber's a scam?
No, I don't think it's a scam per se. I just think it's like, what different? What? There's plenty of people that have car services and.
Oh, no. It's awesome. You've just not used it.
You know, I was
No, I haven't
talking
used it.
to
Okay,
the...
you got to use it. So what you do is you get an app on your iPhone. You're standing outside a bar. It's late at night. You press a button. You first of all, you launch Uber. It says there are 5 Ubers within 5 minutes of you. You see the map of where they are. You press a button. It calls one. It says this guy's on his way. They shows you a map as he's coming, so you know exactly far away he is.
That's cool.
Shows you his.
I'm not
picture.
saying it's not cool.
Wait a minute. Shows you his picture, right? So you know when he arrives, it's a nice black car. They're all very nice cars. You get in. He takes you where you're going. They pay the tip and the fee. It's all done automatically. You don't have to give them any money. You don't have to have any cash. They've already got your credit card on file. You get out of the car, say thanks, see ya. And
It's really spiffy.
it's a
just like
little more expensive.
I
However,
heard that it was
than a cab.
terrible in New York.
Well, I haven't
Well,
used it in New
probably
York,
during Sandy, yeah. However,
Oh, well, that is bad. They have on-demand pricing, okay?
This is a
Demand-driven
scam. This
pricing.
is
So
terrible.
when there are fewer cabs, they will charge more money. And so during Sandy, they were
Raking it in.
raking it in.
well, they gave them, I think, one day where Uber was taking on all the extra expense to keep cabs out on the road and not passing it on to the consumers. However, okay, so in New York, I believe, and in Chicago, maybe they've already started cracking down on Uber because the local taxi cab people are
That's
getting
the problem.
pissy. And I had an email conversation with the San Francisco taxi czar, and he said,
did?
yes, and he's telling me
I'd like to
that
hear his side of
Uber
this.
lets unlicensed limo drivers who have not passed a regulator's criminal background check drive unlicensed vehicles that had not passed a safety inspection. So basically, he's trying to
Uber's-
discredit the entire operation.
And that's not true.
And
Uber's
it's not
position
true.
is that we use licensed drivers.
And they
They're
do.
licensed with the firm they work for, not for Uber. We're using excess time that they have. These are licensed drivers and licensed cars, and what they do is they come to us and say, "I've got free time."
But they're not
You got
paying
any-
off the city of San Francisco
They're not
or
paying
New York.
the
Oh,
medallion
that would be
fees.
yes, that would
Well,
be.
And it's
San
not just New
Francisco's
York. It's
very
Washington,
grafty.
Vancouver, and Toronto's now just
They're
charged
grafty.
them. And then what you're seeing is the entrenched taxi cab interests are saying, "Wait a minute, you didn't pay to VIG here."
Yeah, I
Well,
get
but
it.
it's also they're not paying for a medallion in New York City. A medallion.
It's expensive.
A family who owns a medallion can rent it out and basically live quite.
But remember,
well,
this
or they
is
can
black
work a
car,
taxi.
not yellow
I
cab.
understand that,
But they're
this
taking
is
yellow cab
essentially.
customers because it's more convenient. I mean, we've
more
taken Ubers
convenient
when
till
there were
they-
cabs around just because we couldn't catch one at that time.
It's more convenient up until the point where it either becomes grossly more expensive than a yellow cab, or the numbers of people using the service get up to the yellow cab. Because the other problem is this is so much a San Francisco problem and not a New York problem. Because in New York, getting cabs is relatively easy in New York. Getting a cab in San Francisco is a nightmare. And this
agree.
makes me think of one of those. This is like one of those startups that, like, I'm under 30, I hate Muni, and I
Right.
can't get a taxi cab. I can get funded for this.
So who's behind this, and when it becomes so popular? Over, it's just like I never heard about it until just like a week ago.
It's
a great startup
for a whole maybe a year.
More than a
really
year.
a year.
When we were in Paris last year for
there
Le Web,
you have it.
exactly a year ago, they had just launched in Paris, and we were using it in Paris. It's a great service. It's expensive. It's a service.
It's like $50 a.
Yeah, it's a service for affluent
It was
people.
founded in 2009 by 3 dudes
So it's
living
3
in
years
San
old.
Francisco.
3 dudes.
3 dudes:
Three
Travis and Oscar and Garrett.
I just think that they say we're a technology company. We are simplifying. In fact, they want to get in the cab business. And they also want to get in the peer-to-peer car loaning business, where John would have a nice car he doesn't use very much, and somebody could actually use your Mercedes for a while.
Well, there are a
so
bunch of
thrilled at that
companies doing
opportunity.
I don't drive a Mercedes.
Get around, neighbor rides, Lyft, kind of, sort of.
I think that this is a problem universally, where the internet is changing the way people do business, and the existing business interests go, wait a minute, this is how we do business.
The existing business interests in New York have also been fighting to keep gypsy cabs from the outer boroughs out of Manhattan for decades. I mean, there's.
Oh no, it's not new. I agree. How do you feel about gypsy cabs?
Nobody likes gypsy cabs.
If I'm at 183rd Street in the Bronx because I got off at the wrong subway station, I think gypsy cabs are great.
You need a gypsy cab.
How about going back in the subway?
Long story.
It sounds like you've
Jeez.
been there, actually.
Sounds like
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more like 136th Street. But
great neighborhood.
now John knows why I didn't go back in the subway.
Verizon is going to start targeted advertising this week. You're going to love this one. If you're a customer of Verizon, watch for an email, text message, or notification mentioning their new Verizon Selects program. In exchange for sharing your data usage, such as location, this is on your smartphone, web browsing, and mobile app usage data, you'll get targeted advertisements delivered to you by email, text messaging, or other form of mobile advertising.
So in exchange for your data, you get ads? That sounds like a lose-lose.
It doesn't sound like you're getting any benefit.
It's like, gee.
You can opt out by saying no. Opting, wait a minute, here's your reward.
You don't get to opt in, you have to opt out?
You have to opt out.
Oh, boy.
If you don't opt out, you will get a coupon.
Oh, cool. That's better than a badge.
Or some other form of reward from Verizon.
Oh, so maybe a badge after all. Knock on wood, fingers crossed.
A sticker.
A sticker
Boy.
that says Verizon.
Well, if you're a Verizon customer, just look for that email any day now.
Lame-o badge.
Isn't
That's
that
what a sticker
funny?
is. What the hell?
Everybody's going to do this. You know what's annoying? I got a Panasonic Viera television. It's an expensive television, $3,000 television, HD display.
Was it a?
When
is
I
that a
turn up-
plasma or is that
Yeah,
a?
it's a plasma.
It's
When I
the
turn
best
up
television you
it's
can buy
beautiful.
right
It
now.
is. It's the best television.
The Viera is? Okay.
It's beautiful. But when I turn up the volume, I get an ad for Capital One credit cards.
What?
I kid you not. You turn the volume up, there's the volume slider pops up, and then below it, an ad, a banner ad,
Really?
while I'm
What?
watching TV.
On the volume control?
On the volume.
Doesn't that?
Like, I didn't pay enough money for this TV. We got to make a little extra.
I'll have a spare room for you in my cabin in the woods, okay, up in the mountains, raising my children.
Isn't that
without
offensive?
cell phones.
Almost as offensive as ballparks having advertising on
Well,
them.
everybody, but
Hey,
you know what's
in the
happening? It's
olden
Philip K.
days,
Dick land,
It was
where everybody.
only it was those crappy minor league parks that were all covered with ads, and you'd always say, "Wow, those things are really rinky-dink." And the major league parks never had these ads everywhere. They never did. Now somebody started doing it. The next thing you know, now you go to like the Giants Park, it's all ads. The whole place is crawling with them.
Simple 312 says I'm sounding like Andy Rooney. What's all this about ads on my volume control?
Yeah, well, you do sound a little like him anyway.
Well, but I don't think I should have to see an ad when I want to turn up the TV volume. That's ridiculous.
And that'll just be
I agree.
$5 a month.
Yeah. Now I understand it when you go to the Panasonic, I guess Viera Connects or whatever, their smart apps. There's lots of ads. There's actually a video ad starts playing in the corner. There's a banner ad below. That's how you get to Netflix or whatever. You have to. There's an ad. There's audio, an ad going.
But what about visual tune-out? When do advertisers realize that the more they annoy us, the more we ignore them?
Exactly.
I mean, when do they realize that these ads on and name a social network, name a website, are completely ineffective? The click-through rates are in the
and the
gutter.
more you see,
conversion rates are even lower. Social media is, as
what's
the book
the conversion
says,
rate on an ad on the volume control on a TV set? And how would you even measure it? John says the book tells
I don't know
all.
how you measure. It sounds like some sharp operator sold the idea
Merry
to these
Christmas, everybody.
Just
Jeez.
kind of hard to believe.
Humbug.
I know, right?
So Jolie is more of a curmudgeon than I am.
Oh, much more.
Really?
She is grumpy.
Yeah.
And what am I going to do in this cabin in the woods, by the way? Why are you...
Well, we're going to play Yahtzee. There's this great game called Mennonite
Parcheesi.
Madness.
Mennonite Madness.
You get paper and the neckbeard's sister and brother-in-law taught it to
Now
me
he's
last
referred to
Christmas.
as
It was
the
great.
neckbeard?
Aaron, I'd dump this lady in a minute if I were you.
Don't do the
Mr.
dishes
Odell.
tonight.
Wait, what is
Make her
Men-
sleep on the couch.
What is Mennonite Madness?
Okay, Mennonite
Are you...
Madness.
Wait, first of all, do you have Mennonite relatives? No.
He grew up in this really Amish part of Pennsylvania, though, so to tease him, I call him a Mormon. But anyways,
That makes sense.
it doesn't, though. That's the great thing about living with me.
I get it.
Nonsense,
He's actually...
nonstop.
He's much more of a tech lover than you are. You're the
He
Luddite
is.
in the family.
Well, I balance us out. You know, he's an entrepreneur. He's a founder, so I haven't even really seen him since we got married. I just bake.
When are you
and-
launching? January. Come back. Tell us all about it. Is it stealth? He's in stealth mode.
Ish. He got covered
What's it
on
got to do with,
TechCrunch
though?
already, so how stealthy is
He's
that?
got
So-
coverage? Mm-hmm. Where?
The internet.
What is Mennonite Madness?
So, okay. It's the stupidest game, but it's hilarious when you get people together. You get a pencil, one pencil, and everyone gets a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And you write down numbers 1 to 100 as fast as you can.
Yeah.
But how does it work? Someone has to throw the pencil in the middle of the table when someone's done counting to 10. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like spit.
Take out an eye.
It makes
There's
sense when
among-
you have no electricity. I'll tell
Exactly.
you that.
Among these groups of people, there are a lot of games where you slap, spit, yell, scream, throw things. It's, I think, a kind of deep-rooted unhappiness that they're just expressing.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, why don't
Yeah.
you go take
You
your
ever play
little
spit?
Ingress and go have a good time with your neighbors here, friends and neighbors in Petaluma.
I am going to go Ingress. You know what?
Sharing your location
Chad,
with
there seems to
everybody.
be a bug in this. I cannot click the...
Don't we have a house ad coming up, Leo?
You know, this would be a good time to see what you missed if you missed this week on TWiT.
You know I love it.
On TWiT. Know-how.
We're going to show you how to rip DVDs. I said, doesn't everybody know how? But this is more than just ripping
More
them.
than
This
just
is also
that.
putting them on your Apple TV.
Well, you're holding the Apple TV right there. I got a DVD over here. If you notice something, Apple TVs don't have optical drives. So this is going to be not as easy as it should be, but got to make things complex because it's a lot more fun.
This week in Google.
You know, I'm friends with Vic Gundatra, who's, the senior VP. So I sent him an email about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I know YouTube and Google Plus are starting to do this merge. I said, there's going to be some backlash. You need to, talk to some YouTube people about this. And he wrote me back and was like, what backlash? YouTube partners they love this idea. They're all on board. And I was like, someone is protecting you from the truth. I said, this is not true.
Frame rate.
Baby metal. If you're not familiar with baby metal, I'm a full-grown man rapidly approaching my 40s, and I am in love with this fusion of Japanese pop and death metal.
Gizwiz.
This part of the tie has the tube that you drink the liquid from that you put in the bladder that you fill.
Now, presumably, you would want to go into private while you're doing this. You don't want to just pick up your tie and start sucking from it.
TWiT. Test drive one today.
You tie-sucking son of a gun.
Hey, you know what, Leo?
What?
I love these house ads.
You're so funny. Now, apparently, I'm being told about some sort of... this is Ingress. Apparently...
aren't they dramatizing this thing a little bit too much?
Well, what's funny is if it is merely just a way to mine location information.
It's data mining.
It's really kind of funny that
handmade.
It's incoming message from Ada. I'll play it later.
This is so sad.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited. I've been dying. Thank you, Chad.
Everyone's secret desire to work in international intelligence.
I want to be a spy.
Apparently, that's what it seems so.
In reality, we don't know enough languages or have good enough credit, and that's the truth.
In what is by far the greatest DMCA mess we've ever witnessed, writes Torrent Freak, several major movie studios have seemingly asked Google to take down legitimate copies of their own films. Through an agent, the studios further request the search engine remove their official Facebook pages and Wikipedia entries, as well as movie reviews in prominent newspapers. People just don't understand how Google works.
Apparently.
It's stunning to me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed.
Lionsgate sent a DMCA notice to Google saying, remove links to copies of Cabin in the Woods, including to the official website and
these are all auto-generated.
It's automatic.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's actually we've seen movie review shows with stuff that's been sent out by the theaters get cease and desist orders or takedown notices.
Well, we get routinely we'll get shows. This
Someone
week in
needs to
Enterprise.
write a better script.
Oh, somebody woke up. This week in Enterprise Tech got a takedown on YouTube this week, or a couple of weeks ago, because apparently they had some content from a Brazilian movie company, which of course they didn't. But the appeal process is arcane. It's just ridiculous, and they take you down immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's just
appeal.
easier to do that and then not worry about it. It's just it's a crapshoot.
And if I was Google, I'd just take it down and let it stay down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why should they get in trouble with that?
Well, no, because then the people who are trying to get them in trouble end up losing
business.
A bunch.
They lose business.
And
all right.
the links that are left are the torrent.
Look closely at this. Is that Steve Jobs or Ashton Kutcher?
That's Ashton Kutcher.
Playing Steve Jobs.
My vision is excellent. So.
We're gonna see this at Sundance in January. The new biopic of Steve Jobs starring Ashton Kutcher covers 30 years of Jobs' life from 1971 to 2000. This is not the movie based on the Isaacson book. Sony's making that one. And that one, Aaron Sorkin, who's writing the script for that one, apparently it's all going to be flashback. That's how he did The Social Network. And it's going to be based around, it's going to be Steve Jobs backstage at 3 big Apple announcements. Is the whole movie.
Fascinating.
Cute.
Can't wait.
But so this is essentially just 10 years extra from where Pirates of Silicon Valley left off?
Right. And he,
okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And why
Noah
are they
Wiley should be Jobs.
The really interesting part after the iPod and the iPhone, why did they leave the cool bits out? Because that's what we know him for now.
I know.
And I'm not even an Apple fan. I hate all that crap. But that's the good part of the story, I would think.
But you can tell that's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
You know, anybody with a beard, I would probably you could pose as Steve Jobs if I had the beard and the hair.
Would you like to?
And we're 40 pounds
You want to
thinner.
do? You want to do?
50 years younger.
Yeah.
I got time.
You got some beards with you?
Yeah.
In the suitcase?
I brought.
Oh,
my
can I
own.
borrow Aaron's beard?
Yeah.
All right.
Comes right off.
His Mennonite beard?
She just makes him wear it.
No, I think we've got a Sharpie in here somewhere.
Ah, just
Chad,
draw it
do you
on.
have a Sharpie?
That's easy.
No, she loves beard. She said it on a show once.
You know,
I
you
do.
could actually, if Aaron dyed his beard and hair and wore black turtleneck and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to
Oh,
shut
likey.
this. I'm going to shut this puppy down.
It's about time.
It's really gone on way too long.
Yeah, no, it's over. The show should be an hour and a half.
It should be.
Yeah.
We got to figure out a way to do that.
Well,
why don't I just speed it up? If I speed it up 25%, it'd be an hour and a half.
You could
if
make
we
it
all
go for.
talk like, his Girl Friday.
Pardon me?
If we all talk like
His Girl Friday.
yeah.
But it's staccato kind of.
Yeah, and then over. It's done.
Jolie,
Roll credits.
thank you. We ate half the brownies.
Well, you can take the other half home, sir.
Oh, not me. Oh no.
John?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Okay, great.
You should. Kevro says you should be in a new movie, Calm and Calmer. I like it. You're very calming,
Calm,
soothing,
and?
relaxing.
Oh.
She's relaxed.
Shh.
They're relaxed.
Be okay. We're okay.
Would you put your finger on my lip when you do that? She goes.
Hey, let's get the show over with here. These guys are getting a little too much here. It's bugging me.
We got creepy.
Don't you ever, you know, you go, oh, they do this in the ads now.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit cliched.
Pat, I know, it's way overused. By the way, never mind, we'll talk about it later. John C. Dvorak, not way overused, just rode hard and put away wet. He is the star of No Agenda Show, noagendashow.com.
Is that Ashton Kutcher?
And Ashton Kutcher is his ICEO. Patrick Norton and the baby Tristan, thank you so much for being here. So things going well at Texzilla. The Revision 3 folks and Discovery have merged in harmony.
Exciting. Yes.
Yes. Look at
Total harmony.
Look at that.
Total happiness.
Tristan loves Steve Jobs. Look at that. We got a little iBaby in the making here.
Steve Jobs.
Go for the
I'm
glasses,
Steve
kid.
Jobs.
He's got knees
and
just like
I
everybody
make
else.
computers. I am an excellent person. I make computers, and I'm Steve Jobs.
His nose is getting bigger, Tristan.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us. We do this show Sunday afternoons, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2300 UTC on TWiT.tv. But if you can't watch live, on-demand audio and video available always after the fact on TWiT.tv or wherever finer podcasts are aggregated, including iTunes. I thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time. Another TWiT is in the can.
This is amazing.